Good afternoon from the TT Grandstand, and after a day of delays and waiting around for the showers and mist to lift and clear, everything is crossed for us to allow us to go racing once more at TT 2026. Before we move into today, yesterday afternoon we had an update from race organisers on Maria Costello's condition. Maria Costello, MBE, sustained serious injuries following an incident of the approach to Brandish during the first qualifying session of the Isle of Man TT Races 2026 on Tuesday evening. Maria was initially taken to Nobles Hospital by AirMed for assessment and treatment before subsequently being transferred to Walton Hospital in Liverpool, where she remains under specialist care. Maria's condition is reported as serious but stable. She has sustained spinal injuries and continues to receive treatment. Race organisers continue to communicate with and support Maria, her family and team at this time, and the thoughts of everyone at the Isle of Man TT races are with Maria, her family, friends and team. We've also had an update from Sean Parker, who has been able to post on his own social media that he remains in hospital in Liverpool as well, but says he is recovering from injuries including broken ankles, a broken jaw and a collapsed lung. So very best wishes to both Maria and Sean as they continue their recovery, hopefully, from those injuries sustained. A quick look back then before we start today on Sunday, Superbike Sunday, and bring you news on the replicas. Of course, we know the race was won by Dean Harrison for Peter Hickman and Michael Dunlop. To receive a silver replica, you need to have finished within 110% of the winner's time. So silver replicas go down to 12th place. The recipients of silver replicas for the RST Superbike TT are Dean Harrison, Peter Hickman, Michael Dunlop, Josh Brooks, John McGuinness, Ian Hutchinson, Jamie Coward, Nathan Harrison, Mike Brown, Paul Jordan, Connor Cummins and Mikey Evans. To receive a bronze replica, you need to have finished within 115% of the winner's time. So bronze replicas start from 13th place, Brian McCormack, then Rob Hodson, Sean Anderson, Marcus Simpson, Michael Sweeney, Phil Crow, Erno Costomo, Mitchell Rees, Julian Trummer, Alan Ventner, Jamie Kringle, Barry Ferber, Kevin Keyes, it's quite a list, Maurizio Bartolico, James Chalk, Stefano Bonetti, Paul Williams, Joey Thompson, Michael Russell, Reese Hardesty, Barry Burrell, Tom Whedon, Timothy Minot, Tom Robinson, Stephen Parsons and Ryan Whitehall on his first TT race, all receiving bronze replicas, and we should never underestimate what an achievement it is for some of these riders to receive those replicas. There are then finishers awards for the people who fall just outside of the bronze replica time. In that race on Sunday, we had an astonishing 18 personal best lap set. We know that Paul Jordan joined the 130-mile-an-hour club. We'll bring in Greg Haynes here, who's back alongside us, back from World Superbike duty over the weekend. You missed a great race on Sunday, Greg. It was tremendous, that Superbike race.
Chris, thanks very much indeed. Yes, I was listening in here on Radio TT whenever I could, and it definitely did sound tremendous. And I was looking back at TT Plus and the YouTube pages as well, of course, for the Isle of Man TT races. And also congratulations to the two riders we were commentating on at World Superbikes over the weekend from Peter Hickman's team, Frenton Seabright and Harrison Desoy, both achieving their first ever World Championship podiums in the World Sport Bike Championship.
Tremendous, and they ride for the Peter Hickman Performance team, don't they?
Yeah, they certainly do with the triumphs, and they were actually close to getting podiums in each of the races there. So Peter Hickman's had plenty of reasons to be pleased over the last few days, Chris.
He has. Looking at those PBs then from the Superbike TT, we know that Paul Jordan has joined the 130-mile-an-hour club.
Yes, indeed, and the 31st different rider to do so since the Isle of Man TT got underway. That must be a lovely confidence boost, mustn't it, to have got going so strongly like that here on Sunday. And then we were also delighted to get some action here this afternoon, aren't we? We were a bit worried earlier on this morning.
We were. We'll come to that. The rest of the PBs went to Michael Sweeney, Marcus Simpson, Alan Ventner, Erno Costomo, Mitchell Rees, Jonathan Perry, Jamie Kringle, Joey Thompson, Kevin Keyes, James Chalk, Barry Ferber, Michael Russell, Maurizio Bartolico, Barry Burrell, Paul Williams, Tom Whedon and Ryan Whitehall, all setting their fastest ever laps of the TT course. So, moving on to today, We understand that clerk of the course Gary Thompson has been out on a lap to assess conditions for himself just over the last few minutes. The schedule shows all roads closed at 2 o'clock. At 3 o'clock we are due to go for a Monster Energy Supersport TT Race 1 over 3 laps. They had initially hoped to run a 4-lapper today. Obviously we've got to have the roads open for the corridor to get everybody home from work, so that now has come down to a 3-lapper as it was going to be yesterday when the schedule came out. So by 5 o'clock all the roads are due to open with the exception of the mountain section. They are then due to close again at 6 o'clock, and the hope is that we'll be able to get a Carol Nash Sport Bike TT Race 1 underway at 6:30 for another 3 laps, with all roads to be open apart from the mountain by 9:30 and over the mountain by 10:30. We heard the weather forecast from Manx Radio Motorsport just before we came on air, but let's repeat it to you. This is from the Ronalds Way Met Office. Sunny intervals and some scattered showers migrating from Ireland later this afternoon and evening. Let's hope not. Low cloud and fog on the hills at times. A light to moderate west or southwest wind and temperature reaching 18 degrees. We'll go a little bit further. A band of rain will arrive on Wednesday morning, possibly heavy at times, before largely clearing away to scattered showers and some sunny intervals in the afternoon and evening. Moderate to fresh winds. Cloudy on Thursday with scattered showers potentially merging into longer spells of rain at time, which only clear overnight into Friday. We did have Gary Thompson in here first thing this morning. We spoke to Gary at some length about the situation going on through the week. There is the potential that they will need to use Sunday, Greg, to get this race schedule somewhere near complete.
Yeah, it didn't massively surprise us, did it, when we heard that interview with yourself and Gary Thompson earlier on. We'll have to see what happens then with the weather over the next few days. It actually looks pretty decent at the moment. Looking out of the commentary box window here, it's cleared dramatically for those of you who are listening from away from the Isle of Man. And if you are here, you will see that the visibility has increased incredibly, really, compared to what we woke up to earlier on this morning. Also, a quick congratulations to Honda as well, as they made it 201 Isle of Man TT victories here on Sunday since their first in 1961. In terms of the Supersport event that's coming up shortly, on the turn of the next hour, the man to look for in terms of the record books, of course, is Michael Dunlop. He has the most Supersport wins here around the 37 3/4 mile layout. 15 Supersport wins here for Michael Dunlop, and a further 4 podiums. He's got the podium record as well. 19 times Michael Dunlop has finished on the podium in a Supersport race here on the island.
Unbeaten post-COVID. 8 straight Supersport wins for Michael Dunlop since 2022. Absolutely astonishing. Right, let's find out about conditions. As we look out from here, the cloud is starting to break. We've actually seen some blue sky, which is coming through. Most importantly, the roads look to be dry, but let's find out from our team on the ground. Beth Espy, Mike Booth, and first of all, good afternoon, Chris Kinley.
Good afternoon, Chris Boyd. Hope you're well up there in the tower. And the sun tries to break through down here once again down in the Parc Fermé area, where all of a sudden it's just got very, very busy. Joined on the ground by Mike Booth and, of course, Beth Espy. And like you guys up there, Greg and Chris, I did not think first thing this morning we were going to get anything done, because it was bouncing down. It really, really was. And bit of a scrum over there for a certain gentleman who's just arrived, who we're not going to describe who's here. But anyway, Beth, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, how are you? Yeah, I tell you what, it's actually quite warm now. It was like
On
November, really.
Suit, yeah,
you must be boiling in the bag.
It is a bit hot, boiled like a bit 2-minute rice is what I'm. 2-minute rice.
I just wanted to do a quick shout out, because we had a message from Lauren Walker, who says that her brother Damien is one of the biggest supporters of TT, and unfortunately he and his 10-year-old son Oakley were involved in a serious accident a few weeks ago. They both had to go to separate hospitals because of their injuries. Oakley was actually in a coma for 3 days, but fortunately they are recovering. It's going to be a long road, but just wanted to give them a shout out this afternoon.
And again, fans, people get injured, people don't want to come, but they still want, a shout out on the radio. That's good stuff. Mike Booth has joined us as well here there this afternoon, Boothie, and it's building again like it kind of did for the RST Superbike race. We'll go Monster Energy Supersport, but only 3 laps.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Good afternoon, I should say, to everyone listening. Yeah, it's we managed to get a race the other day, so I feel like today there's nerves, there's a bit of tension in the paddock, but it's not quite as, it's a bit easier. I think the guys have got the first race out the way on Sunday, wasn't it, the Superbike race, or a lot of the guys have got the first race out the way, so it's just taken the edge off. So today, perhaps a little bit more relaxed. These smaller bikes are a little bit easier to ride. a little bit less physical. That said, you know, to race around here fast, you've got to be so committed on them. So yeah, I think we're in for a good race. You mentioned Michael Dunlop up in the tower, and he's absolutely flying on the little bike, so he's definitely going to be one to watch today in the Supersport race.
Certainly is. His lap in this race last year was 130.313. Obviously, the lap record is 134.03. Dino's done, Peter Hickman's done 132.19, and Dean Harrison 129.697, all their previous best Supersport laps. Will we see Dean get the 130 club on the 600 today?
I think we might. He's been riding the 600 in the British Championship and absolutely flying. We've seen him on the podium in British Supersport. He's obviously flying on the big bikes around here, so he's on fire. That's the bike that he's mega comfortable on. So yeah, I think 130 mile an hour is not out the question for Dean on the Supersport bike. And you know, let's face it, 130 miles an hour on a Supersport bike, that's a lap speed that most.
We'll go back to 2007, the first one, John McGuinness
on a Superbike,
on the HM plant Honda Fireblade. That's it's 19 years ago.
I know, yeah, and that is a speed that most people would be absolutely delighted to do on a Superbike or a Superstock bike. You know, these guys at the front are doing it on Supersport bikes. It beggars belief, it really does.
Just had a quick chat with Dominic Herbison back to the RST Superbike race. He said the reason why he stopped in that race was a little bit fuel pipe split and fuel everywhere, so that's why Dean went off. And again, we talk about engine lopes, we talk about little things, but things like wires breaking. How many times have we heard this week? A sensor not being right, just something simple like that. This place is what it was brought in for in 1907. It was to be a test of machinery, and after all these years, it still is.
Massively, yeah. I mean, we you know, things break on motorbikes around the TT course that you would never expect them to see. You know, you could do 1,000 laps around Cadwell Park or Brands Hatch or Silverstone, and the bike would just take it. You bring it here, and yeah, like you mentioned, tiny little things, little brackets that hold the fairing on or the exhaust pipe, little plugs or wires that control the ECU, and you know, we only have to have one tiny little mistake and it makes the bike unrideable, or you know, the engine won't even run. So yeah, there's a lot that can go wrong, especially in the big superbike race that we saw the other day. Hopefully today's shorter race, it's going to be a little bit easier on the bikes, but that said, we'll see what happens.
Before the start of the RST Superbike race, we talked about it. We talked about the pit stop thing. The quickest pit stop in that race was a 52.4, I think it was, for Hickey's team. All the other guys 55, 56. That's what got him second place, was it? We've not spoke about that since, but we said Dean Harrison was away. We knew that, but we said second, third, fourth, fifth places. Well done to John, by the way. Great fifth place. And Josh finishing fourth. But those two, Dunlop and Hickman, separated by a couple of hundredths, 900ths up. And then Michael got 1.1 up. Then it was back. But it was that pit stop on the second pit stop which got Hickey back in the race. Four and a bit seconds quicker, I think it was, than Michael Dunlop's.
Yeah, that was like you say, that was the difference. That was that was when he was able to break Michael Dunlop. And to be honest, I was a little bit concerned with that pit stop because it was that much faster than anyone else. I did think to myself, have the team just pulled the fuel filler out just before it's full, or have they rushed it? They didn't rush it. Pete got to the end of the race with no problems at all, and that team need to give himself a big pat on the back. I hope Pete took him out for a pint that evening.
And an ice cream probably yesterday on a sort of down day. It wasn't the nicest day to have a down day. What did you do on your down day yesterday?
Well,
podcasts and things.
Yeah, we did some filming because we're running the daily updates on YouTube. So if you wanna check those out on the Isle of Man YouTube channel, just to keep up with what's going on. But yeah, did a little bit of filming and did a little bit of relaxing. It's sometimes difficult to force yourself to relax when you're at the Isle of Man TT because it's so manic and there's so much going on. But yeah, I managed to have a bit of a chill day.
Beth Aspie's also on the ground with us. Beth, here now, and you can feel the excitement building. We're round about 40 minutes away from the start of this Monster Energy Supersport race. If you want to go down, see, we can grab in your riders booth. You want to just shoot up with Beth, and let's just look at some of the stats. Some of this one person we've got to look for. Obviously, Peter Hickman will be going well in this, as we know. Qualified 127.3. Didn't ride in this race last year from memory. Obviously had that slip off, so he didn't ride in this one last year. So that'll be another one to watch out for. Can you look any further than Michael Dunlop? 17.28 for Michael in qualifying from Wednesday, and 17.46 for Hickman, 17.47 for Harrison, 17.50 for Josh Brooks. Now Josh, of course, on the Suzuki GSXR 750, so on the next gen Supersport machine. Michael on Ducati. Let's hear from Loris Majan, of course, and you come here a couple of years ago, and he is with Beth.
Certainly is, and I know you were hoping to have a good Croatian breakfast this morning. What was it?
It was chocolina, traditionally, like the Croatian baby breakfast that I always eat. So yeah, I'm ready for the racing.
Third TT then, what is it you're wanting to prove to yourself today?
I wanted to prove myself that I can be fast with this new bike and get the 120 mile an hour lap on the Supersport bike. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that and maybe cracking into the top 20. We'll see.
And you've said the thing with this bike is that you've got no data from it, so that's been a challenge, but also a great achievement as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be a learning period this year, and this first race for sure is gonna be quite challenging. But I'm looking forward to the challenge and hoping to get the best out of it.
Got your mum and dad here?
Yeah, my mom is here.
How's she feeling?
She's really stressed out, but yeah, that's mom's.
She's still smiling. Loris, have a great one today.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Do you know, Mike, when you go out on your lap, was there one person just would be the last person to speak to before you went? Would one person come and say the same thing? Did you have a sort of routine as you went to the start line past the no man's land?
Yeah, it was always my dad. When I came racing, I always came with my dad. My dad was kind of my number one mechanic, really. He helped sort of look after everything with me, and yeah, he was the guy that when you roll away from the main sort of group of your team, he was the guy that gave me the last pat on the back and sorted me off for either a practice or a race around the TT course.
Just going to grab a quick word if we can before he gets up on the line. He's just walked up here as well, I think. He's just gone over to speak. I don't know where he's gone. He's in here. There he is, hiding. I did see him coming in. He's hiding. Sorry, Gary, you're hiding behind Arnie, you were. That's what it was. How are you, Gary McCoy?
Good. Ready to get going here. It's been, 4 days off a bike now, I think. And, obviously, we're not allowed now. Newcomers aren't allowed to do the 6-lap races, Superbike and Senior. So we missed out a wee bit there. But obviously, the organisers have to make these decisions. And obviously, it's to keep us boys safe. So, getting our 3 laps practice here now for me and see how we go.
Where did you go and watch the Superbike race? Where'd you go?
Went out to Ramsey, the whole family and the team. We all went to Ramsey to the Swan. We stood outside the Swan and them boys had a wee beer and I had a glass of Coke and watched the Waynes run about and watched Dean Harrison run away with that win.
It's unbelievable the speed they back it into there and get through it. I mean, you're going through there just as quick.
Well, I don't know. I've seen some footage of me on the TT Plus this week, and it maybe don't look as quick, but it feels as quick now. But yeah.
Got to ask you about this place. You've dreamt of coming here for years. Obviously, couldn't make last year due to the crash. You've got here. You've done it. You're now halfway, a third of the way through race week. Everything you ever thought this place would be in your mind, or more?
Everything and more. I've been looking to come here from my cub now, Arthur, he'll be 3 now tomorrow actually, and from I was about that age, as long as I can remember, I've wanted to do it, and it only took us, I'm 30 now, it took us 27 years of dreaming to be here, and it's everything I thought it would be. So.
Are you already planning ahead for next year? I'm sure you must be, you guys, your Mad Bros team.
Yeah, well, it's just all falls down to finances, like we're a family run team and we're doing the best we can, but I think these boys seen the smile on my face after the first few laps of practice, and I think they know now we'll be here next year, definitely.
Tell us about the Mad Bros thing quickly. We've got Dave O'Johnson away. Now, what is Mad Bros? What's that? Is that just you lot?
Mad Bros, it's 3 brothers. They're from Cookstown. They own the team. 2 of the boys are actually married to my sisters, so we're brother-in-laws, we're all family, and the boys own a motor factors in Cookstown there, and that's where the Mad Bros racing come from. It was sort of a rip-off of the Marlboro colours back in the day, so that's where the Mad Bros come from. They're 3 brothers that own the race team, and they're doing the best they can.
I love that, Gary. Thanks for the story. Good stuff.
Thank you. Cheers.
Good luck today.
Thanks very much.
Just standing here then with David Johnson. We're not going to miss you in those leathers, are we?
Yeah, the CD racing leathers. Haven't worn them yet, so they're brand new because obviously they change of weathers and all that stuff. Sort of stuff didn't have time to get changed. Well, probably did, but I don't like changing when I'm all sweaty and stuff. But yeah, they look good. I'm happy with the bike. It's going as good as it's been going. So yeah, see how we go. Start number 5. So see how long I can hold Michael up for.
Superbike race on Sunday obviously didn't go quite to plan. What happened?
It started, a big vibration started with the bike, but it turns out it was just the bottom exhaust mount just broke, which is one of 3 mounts, so don't even really need it. But it was just rattling and created a vibration, which I thought it was the gearbox, as you do around here. And then my focus was completely on that. And then I changed to a wheel, thinking it might have been the tyre spun on the rim, but it wasn't that. So it turned out it was it was still vibrating. So I just pulled off. It was better for my head, really, because you don't want to risk it around here.
You absolutely have to follow your gut instinct, don't you? We were just hearing from Gary McCoy, his first race around here. Do you remember yours?
Vaguely, it was 2010. So I was at the DP cold planing crew with Mick Charnock and the crew. But yeah, I did enjoy it. I remember that. I finished I don't know, about in the top 20, which I was happy with.
And we always talk about what you do when the run up to a race and how you, I don't know, fuel up. Have you had a good breakfast this morning?
Yeah, I've just been chilling. I was in bed till about 11:30, napping, just well, I'm anti-pedina, so we can sleep anywhere, but I just like to chill out and just, I've been doing a lot of bus trips the last week and paddock tours with a load of awesome Aussies, Americans and stuff with Sportsnet and Duke Travel and Trev's tours as well. And yeah, so today I just thought I'm sleeping in and listening for updates. So I got out down there quite late and then got back in the truck, laid down again. I love being horizontal. That's my preparation.
David, have a great one today.
Thank you very much.
Interesting, Booth, what you were talking about not 5 minutes ago to me about places and brackets and things in this place. This place is just completely different to anywhere else. If you've been to your short circuits, whether it be in England, the UK, but in America, in Germany, in France, in everywhere, this place is totally different on your motorcycle.
Yeah, it's the bumps and the jumps and the kind of the divots. And, you watch particularly if you watch any slow-mo footage of the bikes around here, at the bottom of Bray Hill, the bottom of Bagara, or through the sort of K-tree section where it's really bumpy, the bikes are getting twisted and turned and, using all the suspension, the bodywork's grinding on the floor, the exhaust pipes are getting put through all sorts of stress. So, yeah, like we mentioned before, them daft little brackets that hold stuff on, Davo's unfortunately had one break, and yeah, you can't always tell what the problem is. Like Dave said, and if it's something's got in your head, you don't know what the issue is. If it's going to be a gearbox that's going to break, well, you don't want that to break at 190 miles an hour down Sulby Straight. So the best thing is just pull off and have another go another day.
I'm just going to, if I can, just jump in the back maybe and just grab Clive. Clive Padgett's just in behind here, probably just looking for a little bit of shade. No, we won't follow him where he's going. I think he's trying to get to see the dyno guys who are next. I was going to ask him, because he obviously prepares bikes for the short circuit, and he obviously has to prepare bikes for this. Clive, can I just grab your brain, because you've got the best brain apart from me. Clive, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Chris. You'll tell me anything.
Listen, we in Boothie were just talking about this place, how it's different. You set up bikes for short circuits, and you set up, say you set up a CBR 600 for the short circuit, and you set one up for here. Explain to the listener out there, you've got to go through so much rigmarole, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things that obviously around here, first of all, you have to have a bigger fuel tank to finish the 2 laps race distance, or to pit stop and have race distance. Chassis and so on, as the speeds have got faster and faster and faster, we're not too different on fork springs now and rear shock spring. Wheelbase may change, of course the gearing changes, and actually your fuel changes a little, because of course you're down Sulby Straight at sea level 1 minute, 10 minutes further along we're up a mountain. But no, the bikes are closer and closer to a BSB bike than they ever were.
What about, has anything here ever shocked you on a bike that's come in, you thought, how is that broken? Anything, think back to your long career here.
Yeah, I think as much as anything back in the old 2-stroke days was exhaust pipes breaking, and you think, oh, I've done my very best with that one. I've gone over the top with it, and the damn thing still broke. But no, again, with the 4-stroke era again, the modern 4-strokes, touch wood here, they're so reliable, as we've seen. There's much less people dropping out in races, many more people finishing the race. But no, I think people, fellas, can associate with it as well, because they're very close to what you guys are riding out there on the road.
When you look over there to the TT Grandstand, it still give you the shivers?
Absolutely. I'm nervous every day, I'll tell you. But when those nerves go away, we shouldn't be here.
Thank you very much, Clive, for your time today.
Cheers, Chris. Thank you.
Well, I'm just in Sean Anderson's tent here and with Mike Bibby, and it's just interesting talking to someone, Mike, from the team point of view. We talk a lot to the riders, but I'm curious to know what it's like from your point of view, getting ready and then sitting there waiting for them to come in for the pits. How do you feel?
Yeah, you seem to have sat around all day, and then at the last minute it's like run around like mad, so it's like hurry up and wait, and then like hurry up again, so hopefully it's good to go now.
And you've got all sorts of things to do, obviously the mechanical side, but also the bit of psychology, looking after your rider as well, making sure he's in the right frame of mind.
Yeah, but Sean is laid back at the best of times, so yeah, you don't really see much difference. But yeah, we just talk about final settings of the bike, like what the plan is, and a little bit of a strategy. But now we're down to sort of pit stop after the first, and yeah, just changes that we might make. So yeah, it's all just things like that, really.
What's your role in the pit stop?
I will be doing any changes to the settings, or if there's a mechanical problem, that's, I'll be there to try and fix it.
And do you have like a challenge for your team to try and do it as quickly as possible? Is there a figure you got in mind?
Yeah, just as quick as we can. Just get the fuel in. That's basically the time limit, is how long it takes to put the fuel in. Luckily, it's only one lap, so yeah, just get the fuel in as quick as we can, but with it being a splash and dash after one lap, it's not quite as bad. So if I do need to make changes, I haven't got a lot of time.
And there's not a lot of time for him to tell you if there's anything that needs doing.
No, but he can shout.
Mike, thanks so much for talking to us. We'll let you crack on.
Beth.
Let's just bring Mike Booth back on this one, Mike. We're talking about pit stops there. We've got to come in after lap number 1. That's compulsory, and you've got to come in for the pit stop. Now, if you've been running this bike in qualifying, you could run it with enough fuel for 2 laps, to fully brim it. Would they kind of take a chance, or would they fully brim it just to make sure they got back?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because the normal procedure, like you say, is to brim the tanks to go and get another 2 laps after your pit stop. But it's difficult. You've got 2 options. You can run a bit less fuel to start with, so you've got a little bit less weight and it's easy for the rider. But then at the same time, when you're filling it up, you've kind of got to guess how much you need to put in. So I don't know. I think it's probably something that the teams are going to have a lot of discussions about. By now they'll have had the discussions about that, what they're going to do, how they're going to play it, if they really want to. If they're up at the front and they want to be competitive. We saw in the Superbike race how much a few seconds can make the difference between a 5th place or a 4th place or a 4th place or a 3rd place. So I think we might see some really fast pit stops in this, where the team's just gonna put just the right amount of fuel in to get them to the end of the race.
Because it's 3-lap race, so you're going to use probably maybe half a tank, just under half a tank for the first lap. So I tell you what, I bet you there's some calculators been out, some abacus has been out, fingers have been counted and stuff. But again, it can go on conditions. You just mentioned, Clive, about the fact you're flat out on a 600 down Sulby Straight, 5-10 minutes later you're up at the top of the mountain mile and you're having to really drag the machine, and especially with it, there's a little bit of a breeze, not much actually. Looking at the grandstand, if you look at in the way of the track conditions, it will be from as you coming back up towards me anyway, so basically going the reverse way of the track. Let's get back to Michael Garn, who's there with Beth Espy. Beth,
how you feeling, Michael?
How you doing? All good, ready to go.
How has TT 2026 been for you so far then?
It's been challenging, very challenging. We had a crash at Cookstown at the start of the year, really put us on the back foot. Leathers, helmet, bike, fitness, just everything sort of crashed coming here, but we're here and we're getting it done now.
I tell you, it's just amazing, I think, the resilience that motorcycle racers have, because also from a confidence point of view, it must be really difficult.
We did the Manx Grand Prix before. There's no problem with confidence in this camp. It's just we did 6 laps, I think, all week. We had a fuel tank problem, and we didn't get the laps done, so we're on the back foot now, but we're going to go out, we're going to have fun, and hopefully we finish this 4-lap race.
I tell you what, conditions have improved immeasurably this morning, so go out there and enjoy it.
Say a prayer. Thank you very much, folks.
Back to you, Boydie.
Thank you very much, Beth. Great to hear from some of the riders on the ground. We'll be bringing you lots more of those as well. We're going to have a look at the changes to programme shortly. It will be pages 54 and 55 in your race programme. Pages 54 and 55, we'll get to those in a moment. As we look out from here in the grandstand tower, directly underneath race control, things are brightening up, I think, Greg Haynes. We can see the sun has burst through now, Glen Crutchley Road. Well, one side of us is in sunshine, to the left isn't. So we want that sun just to keep moving down, don't we? And as we look out towards the hills now, we can fully see all of the hills, which we couldn't first thing this morning at all. We can see the hills down to the south as well. So it is definitely a brightening picture.
Yeah, well, good news, because I was certainly woken up by the waves last night crashing onto the promenade in Douglas. Looked out of the window. It was probably about 1 o'clock in the morning, 1:30 even. And the waves were crashing in. The visibility was absolutely horrendous as well, wasn't it, last night before it got dark? And we are amazed in many ways that we're going to get going, but we're also delighted here because, as Chris says, the conditions are good. Bright sunshine coming in from our left-hand side out of the window. And yes, as you said before, some blue sky as well for the first time then in the last half hour or so. We've actually seen a blue sky here this afternoon.
We have indeed. As we look out from Glencrutchery Road here on down to the start line arch has been built. We are ready for the 20-minute signal when they will call the bikes up onto the road. The trophy that is going to be raced for today, which is the Junior Tourist Trophy, that will be Supersport Race 1 Winners Trophy. That is up on the start line right where Mike Brown will be shortly to start this race. But as we also look out onto Glencrutchery Road on the start line, right next to it you'll see a little grey building. That is where the timekeepers are based, on the other side of the road from the grandstand, where the light still comes on to confirm to Mark Pendlebury to give the tap on the shoulder. It'll have been warm in there during qualifying week as there are no windows to open. And whilst we're mentioning Les Quayle's timekeeping team, they're a man down this year. An opportunity to wish David Clucas all the best, and hopefully we'll see you back in position all the sooner. On the other side, you'll see the scrutineering bays, and all the best as well to the technical inspection team who've been putting in huge hours across TT. We've been grateful to receive messages from Joe Warren, Deputy Chief Technical Officer, who's been keeping us updated with what's been going on down there. And they put in so much work, all these unsung heroes of the TT, the number of roles that there are around this event. They're just two events we've picked up on today, timekeeping and scrutineering, but there is a myriad of roles around this event, and we're grateful to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you to everybody here in general. I think it's fair to say on the Isle of Man for the hospitality as well. Certainly for those of you, if you're here for the first time at the TT, what an experience this is, wherever you're staying around this beautiful, beautiful island. And yes, a perfect atmosphere here now. And incidentally, if you are in the main grandstand or down in the fan zone, perhaps listening to us with your headphones on and you can see any of the big screens, we'll also be keeping an eye on those as well from our commentary box to let you know what's happening, not just as they come flying past our window and with Kinners, who will be down in the pit lane during the pit stops, but all of the other action all around the 6 sectors of the course as well. We'll be following all of the live television pictures, seeing all the replays, the various different angles to let you know exactly what is happening in the various locations around the island.
Right back here at the TT Grandstand with changes to programme for Monster Energy Supersport TT Race 1 after this very short break.
When it comes to head protection, RI strives for the ultimate. With incremental design and protection improvements introduced to the range year on year, RI not only research and improve on the management of impact energy, RI strongly focuses on rounder, smoother, stronger outer shells to enhance glancing off performance. For free service on your RI helmet and more information on RI's glancing off technology, visit the RI Hospitality behind the grandstand. RI, because what we protect is priceless.
Staying safe starts with you this TT. One course, one shared responsibility. Play your part. Never enter closed roads on foot or in a vehicle. It's dangerous and illegal. When roads do begin to reopen, don't enter until the roads open car, marked with red flashing lights, has passed. Always follow the instructions of marshals and officials. They're there to keep everyone safe. Make sure you know the latest road closure updates by following the TT WhatsApp info line with live updates at iomttraces.com/TT info line. Stay off closed roads. Obey our marshals. Stay safe, stay informed with the TT info line.
The TT WhatsApp info line, your official source for live updates throughout the TT fortnight. It's your go-to for road closures, race schedules and crossing point updates. Get real-time information direct from race control to your phone via WhatsApp. New here? Join now at iomttraces.com/TT info line. Stay safe, stay informed with the TT info line.
Manx-based RL360 have been providing international financial solutions for over 30 years, helping our customers to grow their wealth to pay for life's big events, such as your children's further education, your good health, or your retirement plans. Perhaps that big road trip on a new motorcycle. Whether savings, protection products, or investments, for life's financial journey, visit rl360.com and speak to your financial advisor. RL360, proud sponsors of the TT.
Metzeler Motorcycle Tyres, the official tyre of the TT. Metzeler tyres are designed, developed and tested in the most extreme environments and the toughest settings, including the Isle of Man TT course. Whether you ride on road, off-road or on track, Metzeler has a tyre for you. See the Metzeler range at the TT Grandstand or find your perfect tyre with our tyre configurator online at metzeler.com. Metzeler Motorcycle Tyres, the official tyre of the TT.
Less than 20 minutes to go to the start of Monster Energy Supersport TT Race 1. Let's bring you the changes to programme. Pages 54 and 55 of your event programme. And your non-starters are numbers 8, 25, 30, 31, 41, and we have news this morning that Kevin Canny has withdrawn from the TT altogether, unfortunately. So 41 definitely out of this race and all others for Kevin Canny. Number 42 is also a non-starter. 47, 49, 50, 57, 59, 62 and 63. Those then the non-starters. There is one confirmation of machine. Number 38, Jamie Kringle, will ride a Ducati Panigale V2. He does not have a bike listed in the programme. So Jamie Kringle, 38, will ride a Ducati Panigale V2. That then is the changes to programme for Monster Energy Supersport TT Race 1. Just under 18 minutes to go to the start. Let's get you back down to the ground. Chris Kinley.
You've just spotted Ricky Carmichael. Your torch is on your phone, by the way, so you'll have no battery left by the end of the day. You've just spotted Ricky Carmichael down here, big motocross. Is it motocross or is it supercross now?
Both motocross and supercross, but you'll hear his voice on the AMA Supercross coverage. So he does a little bit of commentary. So yeah, we might see if we can get a word with him. See if he's got any tips for us.
And of course, he's one of the Monster Energy. What do they call them? Athletes, I think that's what they call them, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I think
you.
Just like me. Yeah.
Let's hear from the South African rider from Soweto. AJ Ventnor is with Beth.
He certainly is. I'm just interrupting your banana time here. How are you feeling? Maybe could have phrased that better.
No, I'm feeling good. We were just discussing now, my start position is 32nd. So it's just as you come through Kronkemona at the first bus stop on the left. But now I'm feeling good. I've got all my team here, the TH Racing boys next door. We've got a special livery that Uncle Trev's put on the bike for Darren Lindsay, so it's a special thing for him, and I hope we get a good result, and it's something for them to look forward to.
And you're wearing some very distinctive leathers today, a little bit different from the other day?
Yeah, I've got a bit of brightness in me. It's just hoping so that people can see us, and let's see where we go. Sun's out.
Brilliant. Have a great one out there.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Just going to talk to Trevor Harbison from the TH Racing team. We've just been speaking to AJ there, and looking at that bike there brings back one or two little nice memories. And do you know what? The crack with Darren Lindsay.
Yes, it does, Chris. It's a great memory of him. I decided to put the two bikes into his colours this week at the TT races.
Shame you couldn't get a lid done though. The Daz on the side, that'd be nice to see.
It just came a wee bit late to start and do all that, and the leathers would like to done them too. But listen, it's what it is, and we'll move on.
What are you going to do with the fare and afters? That's going to go out and go in the garage somewhere, hopefully.
Oh, but well, I'll maybe get a bar built and stick it up in it.
We knew there'd be a bar. What about the guys so far? Happy with both AJ and Joe?
Both riders are riding really splendidly, and just hoping for a finish here, a positive result.
All right, Trevor, let you get back to the team, and it looks great.
Cheers, Chris. Thank you
very much. Thank you very much, guys. Willis and the guys. Brilliant stuff. TH Racing in memory of course, the late Darren Lindsay. Let's go back to Beth.
Yeah, standing here with Paul Cassidy, who once again has done your hair for the occasion.
Yeah, as always, I always do my hair. Special occasion.
How are you feeling this morning, or the afternoon, or whatever day it is?
I forgot what day it is, to be honest with you. But yeah, looking forward to it. Another basically couple laps practice. We've done a lot of alterations on the bike. We haven't been out since Friday, which I think is a bit of a long time. Could have really have done with getting a lap in somewhere, but it is what it is. Can't control anything, can we?
I tell you what, this is TT at its absolute most TT, isn't it, with the weather and everything else going on?
Yeah, we got up this morning, looked out the window, come up. Obviously, we live in Castdown at the Southern 100 course there, heading back towards Mount Murray, and you couldn't even see the grandstand. It was that bad. And now look at it, we're standing here, glorious sunshine, getting a tan.
What does success in this race look like to you?
4 laps finishing and going quicker than what I did last time. We've struggled a lot with this Ducati, to be honest with you. It does a lot of weaving, and if we can stop that, we've got a heavier spring on the back, and hopefully that'll stop the back dripping a little bit and keep the front planted, and we'll start pushing on. We just need to feel a little bit more comfortable with it. You've probably seen the videos of Dunlop. He's on the limit on the thing, and you can see it snaking all over the place, but I like to know that it's going to go where I put it.
And all looking forward to the pit stop?
Yeah, the team are all sitting here looking at me, but they'll be sweating. That's their time to shine then, isn't it?
Have a great one out there, Paul.
Cheers, thank you.
Going to speak to the ninth. He always comes up to me with a big smile on his face. Michael Sweeney.
Christopher, how are you?
I'm not going to say you stop. You're going. How's it going on the R6? A little Eamon. So who is it? Eamon who?
Eamon Mulligan. Eamon Mulligan owns the bike. He built the bike for me. Yeah, fabulous bike. Everything we need is there, but just struggling a little bit now because we're still on a real Supersport bike now. So, there's a lot of other ones out there we're struggling with, but we're going to do the best of what we have. The bike is good enough. It still holds the lap record around here. So, we had a couple of issues during the week. We blew an engine on Tuesday. I think we blew an engine. So, another new engine in it now, and just go and have a bit of fun. See how we get on.
All right, Mick O'Sweeney, I'll let you go where you wanted to go.
Cheers.
Thank you. Marcus Simpson with Beth.
And looking very relaxed here, Marcus. Sort of chilling in the sun.
Yeah, it's... the Supersport's a little bit less daunting than the big bike, so just the weather that we've had, I don't know if it's going to be a bit damp under the trees, sort of getting told it might be, and if it is, then just sort of, well, either way I think it'll just be three good laps, and I think the big bike's sort of suiting me better than the little bike, and that's fine, the D&D Buckley Racing Triumph's going great, but yeah, I just feel happier on the big bike, and even though I'm it's a bit easier job on this, it's just 3 good laps really.
And it's interesting, isn't it? You talk about the conditions. There's so much information that you kind of have to process before you even start.
Yeah, so there'll be the board there, the LED board, and I imagine to see quite a few corner names on it with damp patches. Here's hoping that it isn't, and it is generally in good nick, and we'll see what it is. But yeah, as you say, it's hard to. I mean, I know a good few corner names, but I don't know them all. I had to search up which one was Les Graham's Memorial the other day, because I actually always referred to that as the Bungalow Bridge, but it's wrong. So just first lap, but just probably have a good look around and see what it is, and feel good. Then we'll have a crack in the last 2 and see how we get on.
And again, any pit boards out there today?
Yeah, I've got Aaron and Charlotte up at the Craig. They've been sat there since, 9 or 10 o'clock this morning. So a massive thanks to them too for that. I told him to go down and get breakfast and laxie on me, and he wouldn't. So he has been sat there all day. So bless him, thanks very much to them too.
You owe them some beers, Marcus.
Yeah, it's a good job he doesn't drink.
Have a great one today.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
He was 14th in race 1 last year, and Willis Marshall goes up to say, good afternoon, Joe Yeardsley.
How you doing? All right?
Very good then. Talk us through the bike then, the GSXR 750, obviously next gen as it is now. How are you finding it compared to what R6 before, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely loving it. We've actually already did a test day at Donington Park, did 4 sessions on it, and I was that happy and that scared of crashing it, I put it back in the van. So we've had a bit of a up and down week. The bike pulls like a train, but we're just trying to get the gearing right. So I've actually put a tooth on the rear sprocket from what I had in qualifying, just because I believe there's more in the bike. So if I made a mistake, I hold my hands up. But if it comes off, it'll definitely improve our time. So yeah, it's been a long day for everyone, hasn't it? But thankfully we've got a bit of a dry spell now. So fingers crossed we can get these couple of races underway.
Let's go back to the RST Superbike race. What happened there? What was the problem?
Yeah, basically just riding 3 bikes this week has been a real struggle. And the big bike is never going to be my forte, especially with the little experience. We never even sat on a race bike till after the COVID pandemic, and last year was my first year on one. So we've decided just to focus on these today, get the TT week out of the way, and then at the end of the week I'll have a go at the senior. But I'm all right for 3 laps on one, and then after that the thing's telling me where to go, so I don't want to come off or do anything silly. I've got years ahead of me, so I'm just going to take it in my stride and just focus on my smaller classes again.
All right, Joe, thanks for your time.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, I'm standing with Craig Shapek here. How are you feeling ahead of this one?
Yeah, confident but slightly nervous. I haven't ridden since Friday, so I'm kind of want to just get back up to speed quickly and figure that out. But yeah, a little bit nervous.
Yeah, someone else was saying that, and I guess even from a physical point of view, because it's such an assault round here, you must sort of stiffen up a little bit. Have you been having any physio or anything?
I haven't been to the physio. I must have done something right over winter because I'm feeling quite good and quite fresh. That's a good thing about the few days rest is I've recovered properly from practice week. So.
And what is the plan today then, Craig?
Just go as fast as I can. That's it. Just try and progress again. Try and go faster in every sector, and yeah, just go quicker. Catch whoever's in front of me. Hopefully.
Looking forward to the pit.
Yeah. Well, that's not my problem. I've just got to ride in and not speed and get that bit right and just leave that up to the boys. But they're all sorted. They should be fine.
We wish you all the luck for the day.
Thank you very much.
12th in race 1 last year, and he's actually qualified 12th again. And we're just jumping round the back and speak to a smiling Nathan Harrison, all right?
Yeah, all good. Looking forward to getting going, have some fun around the TT course.
You love this little 600, don't you?
Yeah, no, to be fair, like you say, it's a really great handling bike, to be fair, the little Honda 600. Unfortunately, we do lack a bit of speed against the big Ducatis and 750 Suzukis now, but it's quite good for me because where I am, I just need laps to keep up with like who I was racing against and who I am racing against, especially on the big bike. That's really my class. So, I've got a nice, perfect little bike to go and have some fun on.
When the Ducati or the GSXR 750s have come past you, or you've been catching them up, where would you say they could have the legs a little bit stronger?
It's like so because it's a bigger capacity engine, it has more torque. So it's just the way it gets there. Like for example, I caught Dom Herbertson the other day down Sorby Straight, and I got in his slipstream. But as soon as I pulled out, I went backwards, so I had to get back in again. But it's like you say, I know what I've got, I know what it is, and it's just a bit of fun. And like you say, you're racing around the best track in the world. Not many people can say they can do that on a Tuesday afternoon now. I'm losing track of the days, but so yeah, like you say, racing around the best track in the world, and like you say, it's all experience for my big bike races. So and it's quite a nice reset as well. When you jump on a 600 after being on 1,000, it's like it's a lot nicer.
Not hanging on just like a rag.
Exactly on the big bike, especially the way mine's been handling this week. I was a little bit disappointed with my Superbike result because I know what I can do, but I was actually sensible for a change, and maybe I'm getting a little bit older. And I rode around the issues rather than riding through it and ended up in a hedge. So I like you say, this is a nice little reset, and we've made the changes to the big bike, so hopefully we can use this to go to for the big bike Supersport race as long as we get the weather. And it's also nice for the fans and marshals and everything to get something going as well.
Nathan Harrison, thanks for your time. Well spoke.
Thank you.
Just sitting here with David Brooke. How do you get race ready?
Just try to be as relaxed as possible. Yeah, some days are better than others. I feel like probably more relaxed today. Big bike race, obviously, the other day, that probably was eating away at me a little bit. I feel like I've got the monkey off my back in that respect. So yeah, just been chilling out today. Everything's in hand, and we're a little bit ahead with like organising and bike prep and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been pretty chill today.
Oh, that's really good. People talk about how important it is to be relaxed. I mean, I cannot imagine being relaxed, going to do what you're going to do. But when you've got that confidence in the team and the bike, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, we're kind of ahead now, and just ticking boxes and keeping everything, keeping on top of everything. So yeah, we've had a slight clutch slip in the last race, which we've corrected now. It didn't make too much difference really to performance. It's just something that would obviously have reared its head in the next one. So we've fixed that. And yeah, just going to have a run round. We'll get obviously 4 on the bounce, which is good for hopefully a bit of progression, and yeah, we'll see how we go.
Hope it goes really well for you.
Thank you.
Last minute instructions going to the number 12 machine, the Burrows Racing, the RK Engineering bike. That of course is John Burrows, and his rider is here now. And Ian Hutchinson, hello.
Hi.
You all right, mate?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, and let's talk about John and his team. I mean, you must be having some great fun with them. And what about the Ducati?
Yeah, it's good, yeah, just chipping away, riding it. Very different to ride, obviously, but enjoying it, to be honest.
What is a crack like with John and Simon and those boys? How much fun is it in the team?
I don't get to see that much of them, obviously, because I've got my other 2 bikes on my own team, so probably should try and get round to see them a little bit more than I do. But yeah, I mean, it's been easy for me to just get on the bike when it's the session for this bike and speak to them a little bit after and then leave them to it until I get back on the bike. That's all I've done, really.
What about your Team RST team? I mean, that's a different scenario for you this year, helping running that team as well. I mean, has that put a bit of pressure on you, or are you just hutchy, nice and chilled?
It's been a lot less pressure since we got to the TT, to be fair. I've got the full team. It's not quite like rocking up for a factory team, but there's still things on my mind that I've got to still make sure has that been done. But to be fair, Chris and Shannon and the boys are doing everything, really without me having to think about it.
Good luck for today, Ian. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ian Hutchinson. 5 minutes ago before the start of this one. We'll just jump in and get Peter Hickman before he puts his lid on. He's just about to put his little chest protector in, about to go on the beautiful Swan Triumph. Now, riding the Swan Triumph for this one and the Trooper Triumph for race 2. Let's get that right, but this, the Swan colours. Peter Hickman, good afternoon.
How you doing? You all right?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, got the hat on. How is it?
Yeah, all good, thank you. Glad that the sunshine came out, and obviously it's actually still quite warm, isn't it? Which is quite nice. So fingers crossed the track's dried up as much as possible. I know they've just told us some damp patches at Ramsey and obviously Governors and the Nook, as expected. But hopefully the rest of the course is pretty good.
After the podium the other day, confidence back in Pete Hickman?
Yeah, I'm getting there. It's just bit by bit. I just each time I ride the bike, I get a little bit better again. So. Let's see what we can do on the Supersport. I actually rode quite well last week, 127 standing start, so not so bad, not so far away. So fingers crossed we can go a little bit more now. Whether we've actually got enough to live with Michael, I think is a big ask. But at least I know physically I can ride this all the way to the end without any question at all. So that's fine.
All right, Peter. Thanks for your time and good luck.
Cheers, mate. Thanks.
Just standing next to Ryan Whitehall here, and just saying you got your replica from Sunday. How does that feel?
Yeah, pretty amazing, really. I mean, I kind of wanted to win it, but I think yeah, that'll do. I think, yeah, chuffed to bits.
How are you feeling ahead of this one then?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I've got Barry from North Links Components put a bike out for me, so I've really been enjoying it all week. Maybe struggling to find the speed that I want, but yeah, no, it's really good. Yeah, really looking forward to riding it.
And you all seem so chilled out, but are the butterflies going?
Yeah, well, if you saw the inside of my portable toilet, you wouldn't think I was chilled out.
That is a delightful image to leave us with, Ryan. Thank you so much. Have a good one out there.
Thanks. Hi, Carol. Hi, George. Enjoy the mountain.
Quickly get in if we can, as Richard from Action goes and sees Mikey Evans. 3 minutes to go. All right?
Yeah, all good.
How's the body after the other day, all right?
Brilliant, yeah, I'm all good.
Ready to rock, aren't you?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah. Good luck, Mikey. There you go. That looking at eyes. Josh Brooks on the 7 bike, the Ugly & Co., the clothing lifestyle bike on the 7 machine, the GSXR 750. Number 6, Michael Dunlop was there, and the MD Racing, the Stead Plan bike, Dave Johnson, who we've heard from. Jamie Coward as well. He'll be another one to keep an eye on. And this one, will Jamie Coward, his quickest Supersport lap is 128.668. So definitely someone to maybe look out for in this one. We'll leave them alone now. Dean Harrison, fresh in that success on the RST Superbike race a couple of days ago now. He's on the bike ready to go. And do you know what? They're having a laugh and a joke, and they're 2 and a bit minutes away from the start of an Isle of Man TT race. And Paul Jordan on the 2 bike ready to go. Just look. I don't know what that sign is. You just give me that look. You just give me anyway. On the number 2 bike, Mike and the team are all there. And Mike Brown, do you know what? Mike Brown switching machine from the R9 to the R6. Let's give you the board for those who didn't hear it. Entry at Braddon Bridge, also at Gorsley, Balig, Laurel Bank 1, 11th milestone, the 13th milestone, also Bishop's Court. We've got, who else? We've got Sulby Bridge, Kerramore, Whitegates, Ramsey Hairpin, Waterworks, goodness me, Keppel to Cates, Hilbury, and also Cates. And also Lac of Adhesion will be shown at the Governor's Dip. So the usual places for the damp patches. Chris Boyd and Greg Haynes calling his first TT race away, guys, as Mike Brown's machine gets rolled off the back stand. The tyre warmers are off. The R6 Yamaha, the BPE Racing, the Russell Racing R6, and Mike Brown is going to be the first man to go. Boys, up to you.
Thank you very much, Chris Kinley. A hugely busy Glen Crutchley Road. They're 9-10 deep, I would say, on Glen Crutchley Road around the start area. It is absolutely thronged. We are ready for Monster Energy Supersport TT Race 1. It's going to be a 3 o'clock start, which is 1 minute and 10 seconds away. It's going to be a 3-lap race, which is 113.19 miles. A compulsory pit stop at the end of lap 1. 6 manufacturers are represented, 17 nationalities. Your 2025 Race 1 podium, Michael Dunlop won it. Dean Harrison was second. James Hillier was third. The lap record stands to Michael Dunlop from 2023 on the Yamaha R6. 17 minutes 21.607, 130.402 miles per hour. The race record stands to Michael Dunlop from last year, 2025 on the Ducati Panigale V2. 53 minutes 15 seconds, 0.950. 127.5 miles an hour. The starter is Jason McAlpine, the host of Gypsy Tales podcast. The top qualifying times. Michael Dunlop on Wednesday of qualifying week did 129.557 on the MD Racing Ducati. Peter Hickman 127.3 on the Swan Racing by PHR Performance Triumph, and Dean Harrison third fastest 127.2 on the Honda. Well, less than 10 seconds to go. Greg Haynes, take it away.
Chris, thank you very much indeed. If you're down at Bray Hill and you're here for the first time, get ready for something absolutely spectacular, because we are away with the Monster Energy Supersport TT Race 1 of 2026. Mike Brown shooting his way down Bray Hill and down towards the St. Ninians Crossroads for the first time. Paul Jordan is away now, so that's a Yamaha followed by a Ducati. Paul Jordan, congratulations, into the 130 mile an hour club yesterday in the Superbike race for the first time for him ever. That was Dean Harrison moving away, and he had a fantastic victory, didn't he, yesterday, equaling Jeff Duke amongst others for 6 Isle of Man TT victories. Jamie Coward next on the Rapid Honda with Drive Life Machine as he goes flying past our window and makes his way down towards Bray Hill. David Johnson is now away, and he is number 5, the CD Racing Kawasaki rider from Adelaide in Australia. Here now comes Michael Dunlop. New record for podiums for him yesterday in the Superbike race, up to 9 podiums for MD, which moves him ahead of John McGuinness. Josh Brooks now on the Ugly & Co Racing Suzuki. Fantastic livery there. It mimics the Kevin Schwantz livery, the Pepsi Suzuki from the Grand Prix World Championship in 1989. We send our best wishes to Davey Todd, who would be going now. Remember, the top 20 riders are all seeded based on their experience and previous results here, as Mikey Evans now goes flying past us from Santon here on the Isle of Man on the Dafabet Racing Triumph. Another Triumph now, and it's Peter Hickman. 14 times an Isle of Man TT winner is Peter Hickman. Let's see what he can do here on the Supersport bike. Remember, he was one of the 3 podium finishes yesterday. Connor Cummins now is away. That's the North Links Components machine from the Isle of Man himself, of course. This is Ian Hutchinson, Mr. Supersport himself in previous years, second only to Michael Dunlop in terms of success in this category. 8 wins to Michael Dunlop's 15, and also 9 podium finishes in total for him. Dominic Herbertson, Isle of Man TT star, podcast star as well. He's off on number 13. Here comes Sean Anderson. Just hitting the limiter as he gets from first to second. Slightly sluggish start for him there. A few riders were doing that in practice, incidentally, last week. Here comes Rob Hodgson from Wigan, the SMT Racing Ducati. He's off at number 15. We remind you, everyone down to 16 are seeded, the rest of them starting according to their qualifying times. Nathan Harrison definitely seemed to struggle to get away there, but a wheel spin I heard from his bike. That was the Honda. Next up will be Michael Sweeney from Skerries, and there he goes. Beautiful blue colour scheme. For those of you who are down at Bray Hill, you'll see him, but only for a moment as he comes flying past you in just a few seconds' time. Joe Yeasley is next away from Laxey up towards the east, the northeast of the Isle of Man, just a short drive from here. Often a bit of diagonal tangent there with Joey Thompson, the rider from York, on the TH Racing Honda. Now we have a very slight pause, because going off at number 20 would have been the 30-year-old Adam McLean. So we get a strange, almost mysterious, almost silence now here at the grandstand. But we are paused just for a second, because now will come Mitch Rees from New Zealand. The rest of the riders all going off their qualifying times from earlier on in the week. Away then goes Mitch Rees. Erno Costomo is next to move away. Up from the east of Finland, about 100 kilometres from the Russian border. Erno, his best ever lap here yesterday in the Superbike race. He's also won the Macau Grand Prix, and a very, very handy rider around the Northwest 200 as well. That was Reece Hardesty. He's off at number 23 here from Aberfenny in Wales. And in the meantime, the top few riders are already around Badaclane now and making their way up towards Glen Helen, the first timing point of the 6 sectors. Bas Ferber has just left us here. Julian Trummer from Austria now, shooting past the window with the luminous flashes on his livery. The rest of them in the meantime are trying to sort themselves out for track position. Remember, it's not the order they cross the line to determine who wins, it's the fastest time here at the Isle of Man TT. Brian McCormack that was, now going past the window on the Suzuki. Listen out for the triple. There it goes, that's the triumph of the Frenchman Pierre-Yves Bion. What a fantastic sound and a fantastic livery as well. The Swan Racing by PHR Performance Bike. That was Jamie Kringle, one of two riders in succession who are leaving the start line here from Douglas, so just minutes away from their homes. Here comes the second, Marcus Simpson. Maurizio Battalico is away next from San Marino, the Basomba racing team based out of Catalonia up in the northeast of Spain. Plenty of Spanish being spoken down in their awning in the paddock. 30 are away already. How fast time flies. Remember, they're all leaving us here at 10-second intervals. Toby Shan that was from York on the Triumph. And now AJ Venter, we heard from him with Chris and with Beth down there in the paddock area, that special livery for the late Darren Lindsay, and it looks absolutely superb. In the meantime, Chris Boyd, the rest of them making good progress. The top four have already gone through Glen Helen.
Top five already through Glen Helen. Michael Dunlop at Court and past. Davo Johnson coming through Harolds and Gorsley. Already at Court, his 10-second man for there. He slots into second place on the early leaderboard. Dean Harrison shows us our early leader. We're waiting on more riders to arrive to get a definite detail. We obviously need to wait on Peter Hickman in particular to arrive. He was second fastest in qualifying. It shows Dean Harrison leading Michael Dunlop from Mike Brown and Paul Jordan. At the moment, we'll wait to get Hickman, probably Connor Cummins, Dominic Herbertson, Ian Hutchinson all through as well to get a more definite idea of our early top six. But Dunlop was absolutely on it there with Davo Johnson.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We spoke to Dave Johnson in Park Fermé before this race started, didn't we? And he said he was going to do his best to cling on to the back wheel of Michael Dunlop when he came past, and it looks like he was doing exactly that. There was a few corners that we saw him right on Michael Dunlop's back wheel, so that'll that'll be doing him a world of good.
It may just have cost him a little bit, and that's handed the race lead to Dean Harrison. Peter Hickman has now arrived. He slots into fifth place at the moment. We'll get you this leaderboard all together when we wait for Dominic Herbertson probably to arrive as well, just to see where he's going to slot in. He was up there in the qualifying time, sixth fastest as well. He does now arrive, and it is sixth place. So a sort of better idea then. Dean Harrison leads the way by 1.5 seconds from Michael Dunlop. Then it's 4.2 seconds back from Dunlop to Mike Brown, who slots into third on the Boyce Precision Engineering by Russell Racing Machine. Then Paul Jordan is in fourth. He's only 0.3 of a second down on Brown. Peter Hickman is fifth, 0.8 of a second down on Jordan. Dominic Herbertson is next to nothing, almost exactly level with Hickman for fifth place and sixth place. Seventh to Jamie Coward on this early stage, 1.7 seconds down on Dominic Herbertson. Eighth for Ian Hutchinson, ninth for Sean Anderson, 10th for Josh Brooks. Very, very early.
Yeah, it's you're right, aren't you? It's really close these early stages of the race, and I'm just looking at the top of the leaderboard. Dean Harrison's name there. We saw that all day on Sunday in the Superbike race, didn't we? And he'll be coming into this race, perhaps not as the favourite, because we've seen Michael Dunlop really wringing the neck of that Ducati all through practice week and been at the top of the timing list. But yeah, that confidence that Dean Harrison's going to take into this race. And let's not forget that CBR 600 is a bike that Dean's been riding all year in the British Championship. We've seen him on the podium, and he's he's as fit as he's ever been, and he's as fast as he's ever been. So this could be a really close race between them two.
First rider on the road is at Balaf. We'll wait for the rest to come through to get an idea of the shake-up. But already Hickman is also catching. Who's ahead of Hickman on the road? Michael Evans, I think it is. Hickman right with him at Douglas Road corner. Sweeps out to the right-hand side, going past the bus station and the school. Then we'll see them come through the village. Hickman right on the tail of Mikey Evans, literally right with him, Mike.
And they're using all the road out there. We're seeing them going through Kirk Michael on our live stream here, and they're using every last inch of tarmac to just get the very most out of them lap times.
And in the meantime, our last rider has just left the grandstand now, so all 52 are away. That was Amric Blanc, the French rider on the beautifully named Never Be Clever Racing Yamaha. So they're all away now, Chris Boyd, from the grandstand and making their way up towards Balaf Bridge. If you're over in Ramsey, they'll be with you in less than 1 minute's time by my calculations. And don't forget what we heard before the start of the race. A few damp patches in the usual places under the canopy of the trees. So the exit of the Ramsey hairpin into the Coos, the waterworks, the double right-hander, and then of course the relatively slow speed areas of the Nook and Governors at the end of the lap.
Yeah, the guys will know roughly where all them damp patches are going to be. They'll have seen the board at the start. There's a light up board at the beginning of the race. the clerk of the course will give them exactly where it's slightly damp, but they'll know the areas. It's under the trees, it's in the sort of nook at the end of the lap, so you might find this first lap's a little bit tentative in places just while they get their eye into exactly where them damp patches are and how damp it is. Lap 2 might be even quicker still.
Traffic just playing into this. Dean Harrison has caught and passed Paul Jordan on the road. So Dean Harrison is now running second on the road behind Mike Brown. So that might just have cost Harrison a little bit of time on this run up through Sulby. It was into Sulby and Greba Bridge, and Dunlop arrives into Sulby Bridge, just shaking the front end of the Ducati to get it stopped for Sulby Bridge. No problems at all. Massive crowds out there at the Ginger Hall and all around the course by the looks of it. So Dunlop now has clear air in front of him. Harrison has clear air in front of him. This race will hopefully start to settle down.
Yeah, this is where the boys will start sort of stretching the cables and really starting to push. I think they're halfway through the first lap, and we're just getting some speed trap times popping up here in the commentary box. And once again, Michael Dunlop at the top of them speed trap times, 176 miles an hour on that Ducati. That's nearly that's 3 miles an hour faster than Dean Harrison on the Honda. So not a slow bike, that Honda, but not quite as fast as Michael Dunlop's Ducati.
Leaderboard then at Ballaugh Bridge. Harrison led by 2.1 seconds. He'd increased it from 1.5 at Glen Helen. Mike Brown continues to hold third, now 7.9 seconds down on Dunlop. So those two are on a real mission, Harrison and Dunlop, stretching away from the rest already. Paul Jordan in fourth, 1 second down on Brown. Peter Hickman continues to lie fifth, only a tenth of a second down on Paul Jordan, with Dominic Herbertson 1.5 seconds down on Hickman in sixth, and Jamie Coward seventh, Josh Brooks in eighth, Sean Anderson ninth, Ian Hutchinson rounding out the top 10.
Yes, and Harrison then, our current leader, as you say, Chris, he's aiming for his second Supersport win here at the Isle of Man TT, and if he does, he'll make it 7 in total. He's already won the Superbike TT on Sunday, nearly said yesterday again, but it was indeed, of course, on Sunday, and if he gets a 7th victory, he would go equal with some absolute greats. Mick Grant, Tony and Michael Rutter, and Wolfgang Kalash as well from the past. We've just seen the television pictures now of the top few going up through the Ramsey hairpin, so we'll keep an eye on the traction through there.
Dunlop closing on Jamie Coward there. Dunlop as they come through Albert Terrace to the bottom of Mayhill. Dunlop is closing in next on Jamie Coward.
He'll be hoping to catch Jamie at just the right place. There's a bit of luck involved in this. If he catches him in an awkward place like at the beginning of Waterworks and Tower Bends, he might have to roll a little bit just to wait till he can pass Jamie safely. If he catches him at the Mountain Mile, that might be fantastic for Michael Dunlop, because he can just use the slipstream of Jamie to just add a few extra miles an hour to that Ducati and drag himself a little bit closer to Dean Harrison in the times.
Having got the clear air, he's cut the gap to Harrison, but now he's cut and got to get past Jamie Coward. So Dunlop now only 1.1 seconds down on Harrison. It's Dunlop who's been fastest between Ballaugh and Ramsey. Harrison was fastest out to Glen Helen and Ballaugh. So 1.1 seconds in the battle for the race lead in Supersport, Monster Supersport Energy Race 1. Paul Jordan is now showing third. He's got ahead of Mike Brown. So Jordan up to third. And if he can get the toe behind Dunlop, he'll stick with them. It might just help.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's so important around here, particularly on these smaller bikes with a lot less power than the super bikes. You know, you're pushing a lot of air out of the way on the super sport bike, so if you can get into someone's slipstream, it really makes a massive difference. And that 3, 4, 5 miles an hour that you can gain on the straights in the slipstream will when you've got a straight that's a mile long, sometimes over that course of that mile, it might gain you 5-10 seconds.
Yeah, the top few are coming up over the mountain already now. On the Mountain Mile, we're seeing some spectacular pictures coming in here. And incidentally, I can tell you from the helicopter pictures we're seeing, the weather looks good up there, and you would never have believed that just a few hours ago. But yeah, as you know very well, Mike, of course, they used to be able to run vacuum pumps and the crankcases and all sorts of things, didn't they, on these Supersport bikes? Now you have to buy the kit, and everyone has the same one. So in theory, there's no special treatments, is there? So is that how it works in theory, or is it not quite like that in reality?
It's how it works in theory, but the rules in Supersport were always reasonably easy and straightforward to understand. There were 600cc sports bikes or 675 triples or 750 twins, and you could do a lot of tuning to the engines. Now they've opened the class up to a lot of different bikes, and to try and keep the performance similar. The rules are quite difficult to understand and hard to explain, but they use the electronics a lot to kind of even out the performance of all the different bikes as best they can.
Harrison has got Paul Jordan still for company. Jordan is doing a good job of sticking right with Harrison, and that's towing him up onto the top 3 places at the moment. News of a couple of retirements. Eddie Fair has retired out at Ballacrane, and Michael Sweeney only got as far as Quarterbridge. So 2 out of the race fairly early.
It's always nice when someone a little bit quicker passes you, and if you're able to stay on their back wheel, you know that they're going to drag you to a better time than you might otherwise be able to do. If they've passed you, that they've caught you by at least 10 seconds in the race, so you know they're faster than you. It doesn't make a lot of sense to try and pass them. Stick in the back wheel and use their slipstream as best you can.
Yeah, still right with him as they go through Bungalow, Greg.
Yeah, it's great to see, isn't it? Mike Brown leading the pack up there still at the moment. He was first away. Then on the boys' precision engineering, Russell Racing, Yamaha. So those of you up at the Bungalow, you've just had a spectacular shot of them coming through up towards Halewood Rise and Halewood's Heights now, the highest part of the 37 3/4 mile course here on the Isle of Man at 1,385 feet. And if you are at the Craig the Bar, look out for them coming through Kate's Cottage and down that half a mile stretch to the world famous Craig the Bar. They will be with you very, very shortly.
Tell you how pacey that Jackson Racing powered by Prosper 2 Ducati is. It's set the fastest sector between Ramsey and the Bungalow. So Paul Jordan is really getting a good toe behind Dean Harrison. The situation at the Bungalow, it's down to 1 second exactly. Dean Harrison leads Michael Dunlop by. Dunlop's eked another 10th of a second out of the Harrison lead. So Dunlop leads Harrison by just 1 second. Then it's 10.3 seconds back to Paul Jordan in third. He is 5.2 seconds up on Mike Brown. We'll rate Peter Hickman to arrive, who was holding on to 5th place at the Ramsey hairpin.
No, he's not having it his all way, Michael Dunlop, is he? We thought he might in this Supersport race, but with a 1 second, with Dean Harrison just a 1 second advantage at this point in the race, those pit stops are going to be really, really crucial.
Hickman up to 4th. Hickman comes through the Bungalow and he moves himself up to 4th. He's got himself in between Paul Jordan and Mike Brown. So it's Harrison, Dunlop, Jordan, Hickman, Brown, and then Josh Brooks into 6th, but we're waiting on Dominic Herbertson, who was holding that 6th place at Ramsey hairpin. He is on the climb of the mountain at the front of the field. They're already thinking pit stop.
Yeah, they will be. They'll be making sure they remember to get in the pit stop, because it's unusual as a TT racer to come in on lap 1. Normally we come on lap 2. So they'll be repeating in their head pit stop, because if they miss it, they'll be in big trouble.
Pierre-Yves Bjorn catching a rider as well going into Ramsey hairpin. It may have been Brian McCormack who started just ahead of him. So Pierre-Yves Bjorn having a good run on the Swan Racing by Peter Hickman Performance, the PHR Performance Triumph Triple. He's going really well.
And the top few have just gone flying through Hilbury at the 36th milestone at approximately 150-60 miles an hour. They're down now towards Cronknamona, which is the end of the 5th of the 6 sectors. And now they're into the 6th and final sector through Signpost Corner, the wrong way around the roundabout, but that doesn't matter today. It's Bedstead next, between the housing estates and down towards the Nook, which is the oldest part of the course.
Harrison now catching Mike Brown on the road as they run down towards the Nook. They go down the Bemmerhague Secondary School. Harrison is now catching Brown as they come into these pit stops. They've got to get through Governor's Dip first, then they'll be on to Glenclitchery Road. Dunlop has closed it down to 0.2 of a second at Cronknamona. Dunlop is coming.
Yes, it certainly is. It does not get much better than this, does it? Especially after we were so concerned that we might not get any racing today. This is the absolute best of the Isle of Man TT here in this Supersport race. As we get ready for them now then on the Glenclitchery Road. They'll come into sight. They're into sight. Chris Kinley in the pit lane.
First man on the road is Mike Brown at number 1, and Mike on the blue machine, and Dean Harrison gets past him into pit lane, and Mike Brown right in front of me, and Dean Harrison stops right about now. The yellow duster is out once more, and obviously no real wheel change this time, just a bit of fuel in, takes the little tear off the visor, the screen gets a little bit of cleaning there. What is the gap? And we're waiting for Michael Dunlop though, as Paul Jordan is also in. So Paul Jordan, he's holding on to pretty good third at the moment. I think Peter Hickman's about 4.5 seconds behind him as we look up the road. So Dino is in, and Dino importantly has got on the road first. Mike Brown is away too, but I think Paul Jordan's going to get past him. Paul Jordan has got past Mike Brown.
Leads. Dunlop leads at the end of lap 1. Dunlop leads by 1/10 of a second, Chris.
Fantastic, what a run that must have been for Crocknamonas here as Jamie Coward comes in. Dean Harrison on the pit stop, 32.7. Paul Jordan, 32.8. Mike Brown, 35.1. So it's Dunlop and Coward, the only two in. And there's Michael Dunlop away on the Ducati. Michael gets away, keeping an eye on that 60 kilometres an hour. More riders go. That
30-second penalty for Mike Brown, Chris Kinley.
Oh, and he got overtaken by Paul Jordan in the pits as well. So a 30-second penalty for Mike Brown. Michael Dunlop's pit, great. Oh, this could be close. Well spotted, Dave O'Johnson. Dave O'Johnson spotted that Jamie Coward was leaving. So there we go. Michael Dunlop's team, 31.3. Harrison, 32.7. So that to me is about, well, he's got another second or so up on him there as well. That'll all change. Chris Boyd will be working hard with his figures. But here's Hickman. Has he closed down, boys, on that gap between him and Paul Jordan in third?
Well, just looking at the timing screen now, and it's just come up now on our timing screen. Hickman is in 4th position shown at the moment. And what is the gap to Paul Jordan? Just shy of 6 seconds, it looks like at the moment. Kinners, as he comes in now, and they're making a few changes to settings as well. The rider is able to take on a little bit of nutrition if they so wish. But that's crucial, isn't it, for Mike Brown with that 30-second penalty. We've talked about this all through last week as well. They've got to abide by that pit lane speed limit of 60 kilometres per hour. So 37 then. 0.2 miles per hour. And you've got to be so careful as well where you rejoin in the pit lane, because there are some other riders, of course, still coming in, Chris.
News on the pit stops then. Michael Dunlop was the fastest of them. He's done a 31.3 second pit stop. Dean Harrison, 32.7. Paul Jordan, 32.8. That will push Michael Dunlop's lead out, leaving the pits by another 1.4 seconds. It goes from a tenth of a second to 1.5 seconds, which could be absolutely crucial. Paul Jordan will then be 12.4 seconds down in third. So he's gained a little bit more time in the pits.
He has, but crucially, Dean Harrison did leapfrog. I think it was Mike Brown that he came in at the same time as, so he's leapfrogged one rider, got in front of him on the road, which means he's not going to be held up on the first part of the lap.
30-second penalty for Connor Cummins as well. Connor Cummins has picked up a 30-second penalty to 61.1 kilometres an hour in the pit lane. Still all action, Chris Kinley.
Certainly is, and it's Rob Hodson just come in, number 15. He's on 14th position at the moment. Who else have we got in there? Just looking a bit further below. That's Nathan Harrison. Nathan holding on to at the moment. Just can't find his position on the screen. I think it is Nathan. Yeah, it is actually with his team. He's just got in there. Again, we said about that slope in pit lane. When you look from the grandstand on your left-hand side where the Monster Energy sign is, look at the slope there. You can't see it from up there, but it's a very discernible slope, and it is Nathan that's in on the 15 bike, holding on to where's he holding on to? A 16 bike, holding on to about 12th position at the moment. You just heard the bike there just sound as rough as nails. That's just him making sure it's on that pit lane limiter, as we've got Joe Yeardsley and Joe holding on to provisional 15th at the moment. Where is that 30-second penalty going to drop Mike Brown? It's going to drop him out the side of the top 13-14, Chris Boyd, isn't it?
Yeah, he's going to go down a long way. The gaps are right there. It was Dunlop leading, we think, by 1.5 seconds coming out of the pits, then 12.4 seconds back to Jordan. Coming into the pits, Hickman was 5.9 seconds behind Jordan in fourth. Then Mike Brown was just 1 second down on Hickman, but we know he's gone. So it'll be Dominic Herbertson moving up to 5th place. He was 3.6 seconds down on Hickman. Josh Brooks will move up to 6th, 2.7 seconds down on Herbertson. Then Jamie Coward, Sean Anderson, Ian Hutchinson. Connor Cummins gets his penalty. That will probably move Nathan Harrison into the top 10 as well, Chris.
Yeah, just looking at Mitch Rees, he's just come in, start number 29 for Mitch. He's on 14th place provisionally at the moment on the My Coolman Honda as Baz Ferber comes in on his Triumph. Also in here is Erno Costomo, and also number 33 just coming in for his pit stop as well. Reece Hardesty, the Welshman there from Abergavenny, holding on to about 20th position, and Joey Thompson rounds out the 21 riders in and out of the pit so far. And there is the Ducati, that distinctive note of the twin excellent pit lane now. He has to keep up the 60k, and just there he gives it the gas, but there's a white line there. You'll see that at the grandstand. You are not allowed to cross that white line that takes you in a little triangle to Glencrutchy Road. You are not allowed to do that. That's Baz Ferber on the Triumph about to go. Reece Hardesty also in and out of his pit stop. And we got who's this coming in here now? Coming in so quick in here today. Oh, that's 38, Young Kringle. 38 is also his, but the leaders are at Glen Helen. So number 38, Jamie Kringle is in. Leaders at Glen Helen, lap 2.
Yeah, indeed. Dean Harrison then has the advantage. 16.6 seconds ahead of Paul Jordan at this time. Mike Brown now 38.7. Well, what a nightmare for those who've had those penalties. Mike Brown, of course, is the first to go through Glen Helen with a penalty. Connor Cummins will be the other. But we talked about this, didn't we, last week? The fact that they've got to slow down at the latest possible moment to limit the time you lose coming in. But you've got to get it right. There's no point exceeding the pit lane speed limit and being given a 30-second penalty.
Michael Dunlop has now arrived at Glen Helen, and it is a 2.3 seconds lead now for Dunlop. Let's give you the lap 1 times. First to come in, let's fastest off the Michael Dunlop, 17 minutes 52.877, 126.502 miles per hour. Dean Harrison 126.587, Paul Jordan 125.159. Peter Hickman 124.479, Mike Brown before the penalty 124.355, Dominic Herbertson 123.942. We're awaiting Hickman to arrive out at Glen Helen. We think he will be in 4th place. We show Josh Brooks on the screen in that spot at the moment, but there are more to fill in. So Michael Dunlop leading by 2.3 seconds after the pit stop out at Glen Helen on lap 2 of this Monster Energy Supersport TT race 1. Paul Jordan then is in 3rd place, 16.6 seconds down on Harrison, and we still await Hickman to arrive. News of a retirement: Michael Garn retired out at Douglas Road Corner on the opening lap. He's making his own arrangements for return.
And Mike Brown will be absolutely gutted. The pit lane speed limit is 60 kilometres per hour. He didn't hit 61, but he was over 60. It was 60 point something, so just a few tenths of a second, and was all it took to exceed that limit and be given a 30-second time penalty. Boothie, that's frustrating to say the very least.
Really frustrating, but it's so easy to do. There's a number of ways that can happen. If he just didn't quite get his speed off before he entered his pit lane, that he'll have got the penalty. If he just sped up a little bit too fast in the pit lane, Kin has mentioned there's a slight downhill slope to the pit lane, so if the team have just got the pit lane limiter set a little bit wrong, that can just creep him over the limit. But I suspect what actually happened was he got to the end of the pit lane, Paul Jordan was next to him, he's just clicked his pit lane limiter off a little bit too soon, he's rushed his way out to try and get on the road in front of Paul, and if he's clicked that button off just before that white line, then these bikes accelerate so fast, he'll have gone over 60 kilometres an hour, and that'll be his penalty.
Hickman has arrived at Glen Helen, but so too is Dominic Herbertson, and it's Herbertson who takes 4th place. So it's Dunlop, Harrison, Jordan, now Dominic Herbertson up into a fantastic 4th place. 11.2 seconds down on Paul Jordan, but 4.4 seconds up on Peter Hickman. 6th now for Josh Brooks, 7th for Jamie Coward, 8th Ian Hutchinson, 9th Sean Anderson, 10th for Nathan Harrison. We've noticed Gary McCoy, the newcomer, up in 27th place at the end of lap 1. Fantastic ride.
Yeah, great to see Gary doing so well in his first year at the TT. He was always going to be fast. He's a quality rider. He knows how to ride on the roads, and he's been taking this event really maturely, and he's been riding well all week. So yeah, great to see him up there.
Quick, Chris Kinley.
Just speaking to Kevin Keys, I'll let you go, Kev. Sorry very much. He's not very happy. And a rider, number 60, has come into the pits and gone to his wrong spot. Maurizio Buccilico is retirement. The rider I'm going to speak to there was, of course, Kevin Keys, and he is out. Tom Whedon is also off the bike, so it's all still happening down here. 37, Barry Burrell has come in with number 60 there, completely went to his wrong pits. I'm just going to flick over the page. Ryan Garside, yeah, of course it is Ryan, yeah. He, instead of going into pit lane 34, 33, 32, 31, 30, when it's about pit box 26. So miles out of kilter there, but Tom Whedon is back on the bike, on the 51 bike, sorry, and Tom is getting away as more come in for their pit stops. Another 2 riders in, still busy down here, boys.
Sounds it, really does sound it. The leading riders, meanwhile, are out through Balaf on this second lap. They'll be heading for Sulby. Michael Dunlop extends the lead again, out to 4 seconds now over Dean Harrison, and 22 seconds over Paul Jordan. So these front 2, it's only a 4-second gap between them, Greg Hayne.
Yeah,
they're having a great scrap, and they're pulling away from everyone else.
Yeah, that sector they've just gone through, he's less than 8 miles, 7.6 miles, but Dunlop extended the advantage by 1.7 seconds. There's a stream of the front few now go passing through the Ginger Hall section. Incidentally, a lot of that section of the course has been resurfaced after a very, very harsh winter here on the Isle of Man. So it's still as bumpy as ever, but a little bit better in terms of road surface on certain patches they've done there on the run from Ginger Hall, just after the 20th milestone, down towards Schoolhouse Corner, and of course the entrance to Ramsey.
Waiting. Oh, sorry,
I was just going to say, if you listen to these boys going through them bumpy sections, you wouldn't believe how bumpy they are. The way they hold the throttle absolutely pinned. They don't roll off. It's as though the bumps aren't worrying them. It's great to see.
While we wait for Dominic Herbertson to arrive out at Ballaugh to get a full idea of the top 6, let's take you a little bit further down the leaderboard at the end of lap 1. Davo Johnson held on to 11th place. Mitchell Reese was up in 12th, fantastic, on the Malenko by Padgett's Honda. 13th for Mike Brown, 14th for Barry Thurber, 15th Jamie Kringle, Rob Hodson 16th, Michael Russell in 17th, 18th for Joe Yearsley, 19th Mikey Evans, 20th for Pierre Ebion. We said he was riding well. Marcus Simpson is 21st, Erno Costomo is 22nd, Reese Hardesty 23rd, Julian Trummer 24th, and the top 25 rounded out by Alan Venter, 26th to 30th. Connor Cummins with that penalty right the way down in 26th place. Then Gary McCoy, as we said, 27th, 28th for Brian McCormick, Joey Thompson 29th, and Toby Sham, that's a good ride, up in 30th place at the end of lap 1.
Yes, and we've just seen a replay here on the television of Michael Dunlop going through the right-hander at Solby Bridge at the end of the Solby Straight. He was right up against the brick wall on his left-hand side. All the dust was being flicked up from Dunlop's bike. Spectacular shots. We saw that for that Scars racing machine earlier on in practice week as well. So leaving absolutely no stone unturned here, Michael Dunlop, as he extends his lead. But we're going to get the latest reading very shortly as they come up towards the hairpin.
Peter Hickman has overhauled Dominic Herbertson out of Ballaugh, so it's now Hickman fourth by just a tenth of a second from Dominic Herbertson. Dunlop leads then here at Ballaugh. We were waiting for him to get to the Ramsey hairpin. He won't be long away. We've got Harrison, Jordan and Brown all through Ramsey onto the climb of the mountain for the second time off 3 as Dunlop now arrives. Oh boy, he stretched the lead from 4 seconds to 7.2 on the run from Ballaugh to Ramsey. Absolutely blazing, Mike.
Yeah, I think he's been given some pit boards, hasn't he? And he's probably expected to see P1 on his pit board on that first lap because he has been fairly dominant on the Supersport bike all through the practice week. But yeah, he's seen P2 and he's done something about it. Really pulled his finger out, and now he's stretching away. But yeah, we're just looking at some of the speed traps again, and that Ducati, it's nearly 5 miles an hour faster than anything else on the track. It's whoever's building Michael Dunlop's engines needs a pay rise. I think.
Yeah, absolute shout out there for everybody at Scars Racing. 176.0 for him down through Selby. Dean Harrison on the Honda was second through there. 171.8. That is absolutely phenomenal. And in the meantime, you are listening to the number 10 Triumph engine, the triple, the 765 of Peter Hickman, accelerating down through Schoolhouse Corner with the primary school on one side of the road, the secondary school on the other, and now tipping it into Parliament Square and beginning to climb Mayhill in Ramsey up to the hairpin. The latest then as they go through the hairpin, as Chris has already said, Dunlop leads Harrison by 7.2 seconds. Paul Jordan is third from Brown, Coward, Brooks, and then Davo Johnson is in 7th place. They're the 7 who've gone through Ramsey. This is lap 2 of 3 in the first Monster Energy Supersport TT race here.
Yeah, we've just seen some shots of, like you said, we've seen some shots of Pete on that Triumph. He looks so tidy on it. He's got such a good riding style, but he's a tall man. He's a big lad on that bike, and he does seem like he's struggling to get himself behind the screen of it. He looks like, when he gets on them big straights, his elbows and his knees are probably going to be in the wind a little bit, which will be slowing him down a little bit, particularly on the uphill sections and the long straights.
Hickman is closing the gap on Paul Jordan. Hickman stretching away from Dominic Herbertson on the run between Ballaugh and Ramsey hairpin. This is the battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th final podium spot. Jordan is 6.6 seconds ahead of Hickman. It was 11.3 at Ballaugh. It's been cut almost in half on the run between Ballaugh and Ramsey hairpin. Dominic Herbertson then only 3.4 seconds off Hickman. So there's 9 seconds just over separating Jordan, Hickman and Herbertson in the battle for the final step on the podium.
Just running through a few of those who've already stopped. Chris has already run through a few of them, but just to remind you, Andrea Maggiola stopped earlier on. Kev Keys has had a problem, as has Maurizio Botalico. Eddie Fair at Ballacrane has had an issue there and stopped. Michael Garn at Douglas Road Corner and Michael Sweeney at Quarterbridge is the latest to pull up. So 6 of them have stopped out on the course.
We're seeing Harrison then come through the end of the veranda on towards the left-hander, in towards the bungalow. Gosh, he's got it pinned, hasn't he? You can see he's trying to get every ounce out of that Honda. The body just pops up to act as a little bit of an air brake as he comes into the left-hander at the bungalow, over the railway line, right out to the right-hand side of the road, almost clips the giveaway line at the top of Faulty Will, and away he goes off up Halewoods Rise.
It's great to see them just using every inch of tarmac. You can see how hard he's trying. He's giving it every single bit of effort on that CBR 600, and it's just showing, isn't it? These lap times that they're doing are really impressive. But it's Michael Dunlop, the man to beat on a 600 or a 750, I should say.
Paul Jordan right behind Mike Brown in the meantime, so I think we're about to see Paul Jordan overhaul Mike Brown on the road, and we're seeing replays here on the TV screen of Dean Harrison absolutely airborne in various points of the course. It is spectacular. Through the bungalow now, it's now Dunlop 9.6 seconds advantage then for Michael Dunlop over Dean Harrison.
He's opened that up again on the run of the climb of the mountain from Ramsey up to the bungalow. He's added another 2.4 seconds to his lead. Dunlop, once he cleared that early traffic on lap 1, he's really got into his stride, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has, and now he's about to getting on for 10 seconds in front of Dean Harrison. He'll be seeing that on his pit board, and it'll be interesting to see how he plays this last lap. They're approaching the end of lap 2 now. We've got 1 lap to go after this. Will he keep pushing as hard as he possibly can to extend that lead, or will he just maintain a 10-second lead? We've said it before. All you need to do is win by. It doesn't matter how much you win by. 1 second's enough. He'll be wanting to win this race as slow as possible. Really, it doesn't make any sense pushing too hard if you don't need to. So yeah, it'll be a really interesting last lap. Will he go for a lap record, or will he just maintain that lead at 10 seconds?
Let's not forget the history that Dunlop made aboard a Ducati this time last year in the Supersport race. Ducati's first TT victory at the time in 3 decades. It had been 30 years since Robert Holden previously won in the singles race of 1995. And at this point, Dunlop is very much on for another one, Chris.
Absolute gaggles of traffic going through Ramsey as well. Pierre-Yves Beyond is in the middle of a freight train as he makes his way up Mayhill towards Whitegates. We're waiting on Dominic Herbertson to arrive in this battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th. Jordan and Hickman are both through the bungalow. It's Dominic Herbertson we are waiting on. He shouldn't be too far away now. Dunlop leads the race by 9.6 seconds. Herbertson arrives. In fact, Dean Harrison, the race leader, is already at Cronknamona. Dunlop leads by 9.6 at the bungalow. Then it's 27.3 back to Harrison, and that is now only 5.9 back to Hickman. So Hickman's closed the gap to below 6 seconds in the battle for the final podium spot. He's opened it up over Herbertson to 8 seconds as well. 6th place for Josh Brooks, 7th for Jamie Coward, 8th Ian Hutchinson, 9th Mike Brown, and 10th Dave O'Johnson, as the front 4 are all through Cronknamona.
This is typical Pete Hickman, isn't it? He sometimes starts a little bit slower. Slow is probably the wrong word, isn't it? Just he doesn't show us the pace that he's capable of on lap 1 and lap 2. But as the race goes on, he gets into his stride and he just gets faster and faster. And I think that's what we're seeing today. And if you're Paul Jordan, you'll be getting pit boards to say, look, you need to hurry up because you've got a big yellow thing on your tail and it's going to overtake you in the times if you're not careful.
Dean Harrison flies past us at the grandstand here, out onto his final lap of this Monster Energy Supersport TT Race 1. He's first on the road, he's second on the leaderboard.
Yes, here we go. Then get ready for the rest of them as they come flying past our window here. We're waiting for the rest of them. Here they all come. They fly past us. Fantastic sound, fantastic sight, and fantastic situation here with Dunlop now leading Harrison then by 12.5 seconds. Paul Jordan is 3rd, and then we've got the rider Mike Brown, who went off at number 1 in 4th position at the moment. But they're the only 4 who've gone through, as Chris says, to start the 3rd and final lap.
Waiting then for more riders to arrive at Cronknamona. Our front 4 in the race are through. We're waiting again on Dominic Herbertson to arrive just to complete the top 5. Dunlop, Harrison, Jordan and Hickman. Let's see if we can give you some of the lap times as they came through that time. The second lap does, of course, include the pit stop. For Michael Dunlop, the race leader, it was 18 minutes 09.097, 124.716. For Dean Harrison, 123.309 miles per hour. For Paul Jordan, 121.376. Mike Brown, 121.103. And Jamie Coward, who I think was the last bike we've heard through there, 120.248. Peter Hickman won't be far away from coming right past in front of us here, Greg.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That was indeed Jamie Coward just flying past us on the Rapid Honda Drive Life machine. And there goes the latest. That's Josh Brooks Josh Brooks, the Australian, remember he's finished on the podium once before in the senior TT, 2 podiums in total for him. That was Davo Johnson. They're coming thick and fast now. There goes Peter Hickman on the yellow number 10 machine. He's in 4th place. He's only 1.8 seconds down now on Paul Jordan, so a real fight for the last podium position here. Less than 2 seconds between Paul Jordan and Peter Hickman.
That is Ducati versus Triumph. Would anyone have any advantage in any spots around this course? Hickman on the Triumph, of course. Paul Jordan on the Ducati.
Yeah, you would think the Ducati might have the legs on the Triumph on the big long straights, but the Triumph might be a little bit more nimble in some of the twisty parts, like the Glen Helen section and the bumpy parts. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one. We know Pete Hickman is one of the best riders to ever ride round here. So yeah, Paul Jordan's got his work cut out if he's going to hold Pete Hickman off on this last lap of 3.
He certainly has. Just comparing their speeds actually when they came past the grandstand last time round. Paul Jordan did 158.1, Peter Hickman did 156.8. So it swings marginally, about, what's that, a mile and a half or so in favour of Paul Jordan, who moved for the first time into the 130 mile an hour club here in the Superbike race 2 days ago. Just the 31st rider in 105 Isle of Man TTs to get into the 130 mile an hour club. But in the meantime, they've gone through the first few corners of the lap on this 3rd and final lap. You're listening now to the Honda engine of Dean Harrison. He's been focusing so hard on his corner speed across the event so far, on a real high after taking his first podium in the British National Supersport Championship at Donington Park a couple of weekends ago. And now we are waiting, we are eagerly anticipating those first few times when they come through Glen Helen on this first lap. It's about 4 minutes.
Paul Jordan there catching Mike Brown on the road. That might just delay Jordan. It might allow Hickman the chance to break into the top 3. Jordan right with on the road with Mike Brown, as they go through Ballacrane. Yeah, Jordan not able to clear him as they get to Ballacrane. It's difficult to do it up from there, isn't it?
A really difficult section to pass. Yeah, he's probably going to have to sit behind Mike Brown all the way until he gets to the Cronkivody section. We're just seeing some images of number 48. That's Ryan Whitehall snaking his way into Parliament Square on the back brakes, skidding around down to Chris Kinley.
Yeah, we've got Rob Hodson, unfortunately, having to come into the pits, and he's pulled straight away to the left-hand side, so not on the fueling side, on the inside of the course, and speaking to the guys, the SMT guys, and just out of the race, unfortunately. So there's a retirement there for Rob Hodson in this race on number 15. Of course, he finished 6th in this one last year. Back to you, boys.
Taking you a little bit further down the leaderboard then as Dean Harrison, the first rider on the roads, arrives at Glen Helen. We know into the top 6 was Josh Brooks, 7th for Jamie Coward, 8th Ian Hutchinson, 9th for Sean Anderson, 10th for Mike Brown, even with his pit lane penalty, 11th for Davo Johnson, 12th Nathan Harrison, 13th for Mitch Reese, 14th for Mikey Evans, 15th at the moment for Connor Cummins, but we know he's got a pit lane penalty and other people will probably slot in ahead of him.
Yes, he will, and the lead now at Glen Helen has gone up to 16.1 seconds then for Michael Dunlop over Dean Harrison. We never want to speak too soon, but Dunlop looking good here for a 34th Isle of Man TT victory to extend that already phenomenal record. It would also extend the record in this Supersport class to 16 wins, but there is a long way to go. They've only just gone through Glen Helen. It's now going to be another 3 or 3.5 minutes until they get to the end of the second sector at Ballaugh Bridge. We're watching a replay in the meantime on our screen here of Paul Jordan, the 34-year-old, going to be turning 35 here, incidentally, next Sunday. And as we heard earlier on, we may well be racing on Sunday with the contingency plans and the poor weather that's forecast over the next few days.
Dunlop is through then. We're waiting on Peter Hickman in this battle with Paul Jordan for the final podium spot. There was 1.8 seconds between them here at the grandstand. Hickman will not be too far away, we don't think. Dunlop leads Harrison by 16.1. Glen Helen on the 3rd and final lap. Jordan is then 33 seconds down behind Harrison and caught behind Mike Brown on the road just at the moment. We continue to wait for Hickman to arrive. Josh Brooks is the latest. So Hickman's there and Hickman's up to 3rd. Hickman takes 3rd place by 2.3 seconds from Jordan. That traffic has cost him.
We knew that Pete was just chipping away and getting quicker and quicker, didn't we? So it was looking like there was a good chance that Pete would just take that third place. And I think, like as you mentioned, the traffic's just helped him just get that third place a little bit quicker. So Paul Jordan will be trying his best to claw back them 2 seconds, but with Pete Hickman on the pace that he's on, it'll be very difficult for him.
Yeah, that's a swing of about 4 seconds. That is about a 4-second deficit there that he's had. So as Chris Boyd said, that is very much a loss of time in that traffic. We've also just heard from Kinnes, who's down in the pits, that it was an overheating bike then for Rob Hodgson. So an overheating SMT Racing Ducati for Rob Hodgson. That's why he's pulled in and fortunately retired from this race.
Dominic Herbertson arrives and he also drops a place. So it's now Dunlop, Harrison, Hickman, Jordan, then Herbertson, who holds on to, this holding on to that 5th place. Actually, it's the change above him for Hickman, moving ahead of Jordan. Josh Brooks holds on to 6th. Jamie Coward, 7th. Ian Hutchinson in 8th. Mike Brown is then 9th, but we await the arrival of Sean Anderson, who is showing in that position at the end of lap 2. He back comes through and he's up to 8th. He's overhauled Ian Hutchinson. So Sean Anderson now 8th, overhauls Ian Hutchinson for that spot, who drops to 9th. Mike Brown completes the top 10.
I think Dom Herbertson will be absolutely thrilled with a P5 position so far in this race. You know, he's beating people like Ian Hutchinson, people like Josh Brooks, two phenomenal riders, particularly around here. So he'll be happy with a really good ride.
Yeah, especially after everything that happened last year, of course, with the OMG deal falling through at the last minute and not being able to compete at all. That was a real heartache for him. Chris Kinley.
Yeah, unfortunately, Joey Thompson on a 19 bike. He's come into the pits and now he's speaking to the guys down there. Looked like he's going to be a retirement on that bike. And I think you'll agree, for those who are fans of Darren Lindsay in the time, the boys did a great job on that machine. Shame he couldn't get it to the end, but Joey Thompson, speaking to Willis and the guys, looks like he's going to be a retirement.
We've just seen pictures of Pete Hickman overtaking Josh Brooks on the road. If Josh can get in Peter's wheel tracks and just cling on to him for the second half of this lap, that might just drag him a bit nearer to Dom Herbertson. The gap between Josh and Dom is just about 6 seconds at the minute, so if he can pull that extra time, and it might just be the difference between a 5th and a 6th place finish for Josh Brooks.
Yeah, that pass came between Westwood and Douglas Road corner, incidentally, just before Kirkmichael.
Josh, the leading of the Suzukis out there at the moment, but Michael Dunlop at Ballaugh Bridge extends the lead again. It's now 18.7 seconds for Dunlop over Harrison. We await Hickman to arrive out at Ballaugh. It's then Paul Jordan is through, Jamie Coward is through, it's Mike Brown, it's Hickman that we're waiting on to complete our podium set.
Okay, so they've gone through the latest corners in that sector. Ballaugh Bridge was the last checkpoint they went through, so now they are contending with, first of all, Quarry Bends, and then down through Cayley's and the Sulby Crossroads, down the Sulby Straight, where we've seen the times coming in. I'll keep an eye out on the top speeds down through there as well, as they come down through the speed trap at Sulby, and down to the right-hander, of course, at Sulby Bridge, one of the biggest stops on the entire course, where Dunlop was right up against the brick wall earlier on. He's done a 175.4 this time, 170.4 for Mike Brown. He is second on the speed trap, but as Mike Booth said earlier on in the broadcast, that is a phenomenal advantage down there for Michael Dunlop.
Waiting then on Dominic Herbertson to arrive out at Ballaugh. Peter Hickman just showing 3rd at the moment, with Paul Jordan now 6.4 seconds down on him in 4th. Herbertson is then next due. He's lying in 5th place at Glen Helen. We just wait for him to arrive out at Ballaugh to complete the top 5. 6th place will then be Josh Brooks.
Yeah, we saw Michael Dunlop hard on the brakes into Sulby Bridge a moment ago, and he looked a little bit neater this time, not using quite the same amount of tarmac on the way out. We saw a big puff of dust come off his back tyre of the lap before. He was really pushing that thing to the max. He is still extending that lead though. So it's we talked about whether or not he was just gonna roll off a tiny bit to maintain that lead at 10 seconds, to look after his body, look after his bike, not use too much fuel, not put too much stress through everything, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen with an 18-second lead at Ballaugh Bridge.
Outside of the top 10 then at the end of lap 2, 11th for Dave O'Johnson, 12th for Nathan Harrison, 13th for Mitch Rees, 14th for Mikey Evans, 15th for Connor Cummins, 16th Joe Yeardley, 17th Michael Russell, 18th for Barry Ferber, 19th for Jamie Kringle, Pierre-Yves Bian 20th. Rob Hodgson we know is now out of the race, so that will move Erno Costomo up to 21st. Then Julian Trummer, Mark Marcus Simpson, Brian McCormack and Rhys Hardesty complete the top 25.
Yes, and also out of the race now, sadly, is the Castletown rider Paul Cassidy over at the wildlife shelter at Quarry Bends, making his own arrangements now to make his way back towards the paddock area. So that is our latest retirement from this first Supersport race, the Monster Energy Supersport TT. Okay, this is crucial now. Dunlop has gone through Ramsey Hairpin, and this time has extended another 3 seconds over Dean Harrison, and up goes the advantage to 21.8.
He's broken them, hasn't he? From lap 2 coming out of the pit stop, he's absolutely broken them. The times are all sensational. He's up to 21 seconds lead. He's got a final 12 miles to do over the mountain back to us here at the TT Grandstand.
Yeah, I think he played a bit of a dummy on us on that first lap, didn't he? We thought we was going to have a race on our hands between Michael Dunlop and Dean Harrison, but yeah, after that mandatory pit stop on lap 1, he's pulled the pin, and he's no one's seen the back of him, I don't think.
Gary Thompson did tell them to take it easy on the opening lap and just assess conditions. Maybe he was true to the word.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, fair play to him.
So out we go then. Where are we in that battle for third, fourth and fifth? Peter Hickman continues to hold third, now 6.4 seconds up on Jordan, who is now 19.3 seconds up on Dominic Herbertson. Then Josh Brooks in sixth is only 4.8 seconds down on Herbertson, so there's a battle still going on there. Jamie Coward in seventh is only 4.4 seconds down on Brooks, and then it's only 3 seconds back to Anderson, so fifth down to about ninth or so. Yeah, because Ian Hutchinson is only 0.8 of a second down on Anderson in ninth place. Some tremendous battles in the lower leaderboard.
Yeah, you're not wrong, and I think that battle between Dom Herbertson and Josh Brooks is going to rage on till the finish line, because I've just seen Josh Brooks is clinging onto the shirt tails of Peter Hickman, who passed him half a lap ago, and he's not letting him go, and that'll drag him along, particularly over the mountain. If you can get him Pete slipstream over the mountain, that'll drag him over the mountain a little bit quicker, and that 4-second advantage between Herbertson and Brooks, that was a 6-second advantage half a lap ago, might just be reduced to something quite exciting on the by the time they get to Glen Crutcher Road.
Yeah, sure enough, Brooks was within half a second of Peter Hickman in that sector of Balaf Bridge to Ramsey, so it's absolutely paying off, as you say, and the gap on the overall leaderboard now is 11 seconds then. Brooks currently in 7th place, 11 behind Coward.
The sector times we might expect from Michael Dunlop have just gone off a little bit. Suggests he's got the boards, he's got the messages, he knows he's got this well in hand on the run over the mountain. 21 seconds. He can enjoy being up there motorcycling on a weekday afternoon.
Yeah, he can, can't he? And he's got a 21-second lead, but I've got a feeling that lead is just going to keep growing. He's enjoying riding the bike. He's riding it as fast as he can. He's riding it faster than anyone else out there, isn't he? He doesn't need to ride it quite so fast, but I've got a feeling he's not going to roll off.
Nope, he's going through the veranda at the moment, down into the Graham Memorial at the end of there. That will be the left-hander, then that will bring him out into view of the huge crowd up there at Victory Cafe and up at the bungalow. He'll be with you in about 5 seconds, I would imagine, as he slots himself through the right-hander that will bring him into your view if you're up there.
And as the timing screen now updates, Josh Brooks is only half a second behind Dom Herbertson in that fight for fifth in this race. So just a few more minutes left in this race now. Josh Brooks half a second behind Dominic Herbertson, number 13 versus number 7 for a top 5 position here.
And you'd have to say, wouldn't you, if Josh Brooks keeps doing what he's doing, he's just gonna bump Dom back one place before the end of this race. But you know what? I think Dom will still be pleased. A 6th place position in a Supersport TT is still a great result for Dom. And just to be battling with the names that he is great to see.
Paul Jordan has finally cleared Mike Brown. The Ducati clears the Yamaha on the road, but Brown is right with him as they go through the left-hander at Bungalow. Head on down towards Dukes and the 32nd. As at the front of the field, we pick up Michael Dunlop heading down from Craignabar. It looks like it might be out of Windy Corner actually that he was coming through there. Just trying to pick him up where exactly he is on the course. He's got the head right down under the tank, trying to get the maximum speed out of this. The head's maybe just popped up a little bit now as he runs out into what I think is probably the 33rd. Yep, there we go, through the 33rd as the camera just zooms out a little bit. So Dunlop, the race leader, at the 33rd through the Bungalow. That lead has got up to 23.4 seconds. Paul Jordan, then we still await Peter Hickman. Actually, I think, we pick up Peter Hickman coming through the end of the veranda. He's coming into the Bungalow very shortly. We'll get the latest idea on where this battle is for the final podium spot. His time will click in. He clicks over the railway line there now. Does Hickman? He's still got company right with him for Josh Brooks.
Yeah, him and Pete Hickman and Josh Brooks, you could throw a tea towel over them right now, but they'll be used to that. You know, they'll be used to riding with each other in the British Championship, so there's nothing new to them, and it's a lot easier riding with someone that you spend a lot of time with on track. You know, Josh will know exactly the way Pete rides, and he'll be able to trust him. So yeah, there's you can see that's why one of the reasons it's a little bit easier. We can just let the brakes off and roll around the corners and keep in Josh's wheel tracks.
Yeah, and sure enough, Josh Brooks was the fastest through that sector on this third and final lap of this Supersport race. Josh Brooks the fastest in the sector from Ramsey Hairpin up towards the bungalow. So what's that, about 3.5, 4 minutes up there on a Supersport bike, where we're looking down now on the television pictures on Michael Dunlop. He is coming on this last lap down through Hilbury for the very last time.
Dean Harrison is ahead of him on the road. Dean Harrison is through Crocknamona. Michael Dunlop arrives there now into the four left-handers. Let's bring him home from here. Go through the left-handers at Crocknamona. He'll run down out to the left-hand side of the road to get ready for Signpost Corner. Cut right across to the curb. Out to the left-hand side, down past Bemmerhague School, out into Bedstead. Well, he'll be down through past the school once he's got down through Bedstead. He goes down through Bedstead now. Leaves a fair amount of leeway there on the side of the road. Sometimes he runs right out towards the pavement, drops off the road into the nook under the trees, comes down to the nook and will flash out into the sunshine just temporarily. Dean Harrison ahead of him is just going into the dip. Dunlop has almost caught him on the road here. Dunlop is into the dip, about 5 seconds or so behind Dean Harrison. We are out onto Glen Crutchy Road, about to get them across the line for the finish, Greg Haynes.
And this for Dunlop will be Supersport victory number 16. The checkered flag is waving. Harrison comes through, but for a 34th Isle of Man TT victory, Michael Dunlop comes through and takes the checkered flag here on a beautiful afternoon on the Glen Crutchy Road, and that is a fantastic payoff for everybody, isn't it? For MD Racing and Scars Racing, who prepared that Ducati Panigale V2 so immaculately.
Final lap for Michael Dunlop, 17 minutes 43.884, 127.672. For Dean Harrison, 126.258. You've just heard Paul Jordan and Mike Brown cross the line, 125.640 for Jordan, 125.575. We'll update you on Peter Hickman, but we don't want to miss Michael Dunlop coming into the winner's enclosure. Chris Kinley.
Thank you very much. Just making sure the camera guys can get in as well for the TT Plus. And here he comes. He'll come in a minute. There's a lot of people down here, and here he comes. I think this will be Dean. No, it's Michael coming in first. Listen to this. The winning margin in the end as he rolls the Scars Ducati into position was 24.470 from Dean Harrison. We are waiting. Paul Jordan has crossed the line. Mike Brown has also finished as well. We're just waiting for Peter Hickman to come across the line. He will be the next one we're looking for, and we'll just keep an eye on that. And we got Jamie Coward, I think, just coming across the line there as well. Hickman is through Cronknamona. He's 24 seconds back from Harrison, and he's on Glen Crutchy Road now. The yellow machine will come into our view, and Michael Dunlop straight over to congratulate. Well, he's with Josh Brooks as he goes across the line, and it is Hickman. Hickman confirmed in that third position as we get in and try and grab a quick word with Michael Dunlop, win number 34. And of course, it starts number 95, not 96 for Michael as well. We'll let him get the lid off as well. And the lead went up and up, it went down and down, and then Dean pulled away, and then Michael got him back. We'll let him just clean all that horrible stuff out of there. And Michael Dunlop puts the hat on, the Monster Energy hat too. The Honda boys come and say well done. And Michael Dunlop from all of us here and the tens of thousands of people around his 37 3/4 mile circuit. Happy 34th win.
No, it was... Yeah, the bike's been great all week, thanks to the lads. You know, the team has just been working brilliant. You know what I mean? And wee bike was lovely. It was a lot damper out there than that I expected. Now I must say. So the last lap was definitely steady, but no, it's good to be in here winning again instead of not winning.
And the pace down a little bit as well, 127 I think it was. Where were the bad patches out there, Michael? And hopefully it's going to improve for later for the sport bike race.
To be honest with you, they were everywhere. I didn't realise, I didn't think they were going to be, just conditions were just damp in weird places. So I knew the speeds would be down without a doubt. You had to just watch where you were going, but I knew Dean was going to come out the trap fast, and I knew that. I knew the Honda would work in the conditions. So I just got a lap and I said, right, okay, and then it's time to up, and I just kept on up and up. So just kept up the pace to see where I had to go. And then I got the pace where started to pull, then I said, right, just stay here.
Read your pit boards.
Yeah, well, I just knew. I just seen a couple of pit boards they were up and down a little bit. I mean, the pit boards didn't really understand some of them, but I knew then a couple of ones I looked at that I know, and I was like, yep, that's me, and sort of just calm down now, because you're just making sure everything was going to plan, really,
Winning in the end by 24.4 seconds time, and a shake of hands from Dean straight in. Dean led by about 2.1 seconds at one point as you came through on the second lap. Out of the pit stop, you boys nailed it again.
Aye, the boys done a fantastic pit stop, but I knew Dean was saying you was going to be hot and heavy, and I knew just bed into it, just keep myself going, and I knew right there then, I says, right, up the pace, Michael, because I know what pace, when the bike's good and I'm feeling good, I know what I can do, so I just kept slowly but surely up on the pace, and as I said, the boys done a great pit stop, and everyone was brand new.
Well done, Michael. Congratulations. Thank you very much. And let's get to Dean Harrison if we can. Dean, you got the early start. You got away from him a bit, but you've said to me in the weekend that thing's 178 mile an hour through speed up. You're down at 170. That's a lot to take, and you're riding the spuds off this through the corners, aren't you?
Yeah, on the bottom half I can hold my own, but I'm over the moon to finish second. I've only got 600 cc. Yeah, I know. So I'm absolutely over the moon with that, to be honest. Like I say, we've got a big speed deficit. Once I get to the mountain, that's where I lose out big time. Through the bottom part of the track, I can rail through the corners, but there's only so much risk you can take. And they were a little bit scared. The conditions weren't too bad, to be honest. Lap one, like exactly what Gary said. I had my wits about me, sort of learned the conditions, and to be honest, they improved quite a lot as the race went on. The only place you have to be really careful is the waterworks. As you come out of Ramsey Hairpin, there's the two rights there. That's the only place it's a little bit sketchy. There's a white line that's quite slippery there. If you give that a little bit of respect, the rest of the track, to be honest, is in quite good condition. So fair play for that. I think that was a good decision, to be honest, to go racing. So thanks to the Honda team, the bike never missed a beat. They've put another good bike together. We're on the podium again, another second place. So thanks to all the marshals and the fans, and roll on next one.
A lot of people out there.
Do you know what? The crowd's fantastic all the way around the track again. It's great to see everyone enjoying the racing, because there's nothing I don't like is all the fans coming over here to watch the racing, and the weather's not playing ball, because I want to go racing as much as they want to watch the racing. So I almost feel a little bit of their pain as well, to be honest. But no, great to get the race under his belt today, so over the moon.
Well done, Dean.
Thank you very much.
There you go, there is your top three, and I think they're ready maybe to go. Hickey going in there, Rob, is he right for a second? He's going in, okay, we'll hold on. Quickly then, Pete, just a very quick word before the TV chaps grab you. Radio's better anyway. Oh, hey, mate.
Yeah, all right, thank you very much. Yeah, not my sort of conditions at all. There was it's probably one of the wettest I think I've ever ridden the TT circuit. Obviously, the organisers doing the best they can do. They obviously felt it was safe enough, but for me, the first lap, I was not keen. Is probably the best way of saying it. And then we had a bit of a problem in the pit stop as well. The fuel cap wouldn't come off the tank, so I lost a load of time in the fuel stop as well. But bike was working really good after that, and happy to be on the podium.
Well done, Peter.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you very much for that. So there we go, boys. Some of the riders not too happy with the conditions, but again, Gary told them before the start of the race what to get. So there's your top three in the Monster Energy Supersport race. Well, I'm back to you, Chris and Greg.
Thank you very much, Chris Kinley. Yeah, all the reaction from the leading riders down there in the winners' enclosure. I mean, Michael Dunlop, obviously, win number 33 for Dean Harrison. It will be podium number 37, and that will move him level with Bruce Anstey for 4th overall on the all-time podiums list at the TT, behind Michael Dunlop, John McGuinness and Joey Dunlop. Bruce Anstey and Dean Harrison will now be tied on 37, and for Peter Hickman it moves him on to 33 podiums, and so he will be in that 6th spot all-time.
Wow, it's impressive stuff, isn't it? When you reel them numbers off, and some of them names that that these guys are now associated with. It's phenomenal stuff, and congratulations to all involved.
4th place finisher was Paul Jordan on the Jackson Racing powered by Prosper 2 Ducati. He's with Beth.
Do you know what? Telly have just beaten me to it. They've just whipped him away there. So I'll just see if I can squeeze in here and speak to Mike Brown. Mike, a top 10 finish there. Talk us through that race for you.
Yeah, look, it was a steady race with the weather conditions. 30-second penalty didn't exactly help the situation, but what can I do?
And what was that? Was it just because you were so fractionally over?
Yeah, it was very marginal, but we've seen it before. There's no tolerance, and I did go over, so that was the end result.
And then in terms of conditions, Peter Hickman just saying he wasn't too keen on them. Dean Harrison said they weren't too bad. How did you find them?
They weren't too bad, and we got to look at the first lap of where they were and just kind of control the wet patches after that, so I didn't feel it was too bad.
All right, Mike, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Beth. Michael Dunlop's winning time then, 53 minutes 45.86 seconds, is about half a minute outside of his 3-lap race record from last year at 53 minutes 15.9. So that's a better barometer of conditions, isn't it? About 10 seconds a lap off.
Yeah, you're right. The guys were told before the race that there were a few damp patches and where they were, but it's until you've seen them for yourself, you've seen exactly where they are and exactly how damp they are. It's difficult to push. Some of the guys would be a little bit more prepared to push harder than others on that first lap before they've seen them. So I think that's why we saw a bit of a disparity between some of the guys' first laps, second laps, and then third laps, which were for most of the lads out there a lot quicker.
It's 8th place for Sean Anderson on the Stanford Racing by ARD Suzuki, and he is with Beth.
Certainly is, and I just said to you, Sean, are you happy? You're like, yeah, not too bad.
It's a good run for a bike around the mountain course, so yeah, I mean, I had no idea. I never get a board around here. There's a couple of people always offer, and there's sometimes I sneak a wee peek. There's a couple of generous people out there, so I just try and get on the bike and ride as hard as I can for as long as I can and be happy with my day's work. So 8th, I'm pretty chuffed with that.
And brilliant in the pits. I mean, you had a great one there as well. And conditions a bit up and down. How did you find it?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they gave us a bit of warning on the announcement pre-race. It was very tricky, it has to be said, going up from the hairpin up to Waterworks 1. It was very gently catchy monkey sort of thing, and a little bit over the hill from Ginger Hall down into Carramore on the brakes. You had to be just had to release the brake and let it roll. But overall, I mean, it wasn't too windy. Once you got the first lap over and sort of saw exactly where we were, we could let it roll and sort of see how we get on.
Got Jamie Coward here as well. I'll just sneak in here, Jamie. Just having a little bit of a fondle of Sean there. How was your race?
Really good, to be fair. I couldn't work out who it was, to be honest with you, until we got back to the pit lane. We were right away with or dicing with, and luckily, obviously, I beat Sean, but it was a good race, really good close race. So we enjoyed it. It was good fun. It's conditions weren't ideal in a few places. To be fair, there was a few warning flags that should have been out in places that I thought, to be fair, that were a bit unsafe, to be honest with you. But barring that, it were pretty good. It was nice to get out after sitting around all day expecting not to get out, should we say. So yeah, it's another one under my belt, and then we'll look forward to the next one.
I tell you, it's great to see you back in race mode.
Thank you very much, Tar.
It's not bad for the class of 2010 Manx Grand Prix. We did the same newcomers race, so.
Brilliant, Sean and Jamie Coward there.
Absolutely fantastic, Beth. Great that they did their newcomers years together, and they're still obviously great mates. Just lose on a further retirement towards the end was Paul Cassidy, who's retired out there at the Wildlife Park out there at Quarry Bend. And we can get straight back down to Beth, who's with Toby Shan.
Certainly am, Toby. How are you feeling after that?
A little tired actually, but all right really. The circuit was mostly okay. There were some wet patches out there, but we're all in the same race. Just looking at the results here, I've just ticked into 1:21, so that's my best time so far in a bit of a damp condition, so happy with that.
And that's what this is all about, isn't it? TT isn't just about podiums, it's about those personal bests.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. I've come to the island with a couple of goals after the Manx, and we'll leave, I'm sure, having achieved a couple of those, but we'll see what the rest of the week brings.
Thanks for talking to us.
Pleasure.
Brilliant, thank you very much. The fastest lap of the race, which wins the TT Formula 2 Cup, does go to Michael Dunlop on lap 3, 127.872, 17 minutes 43.884. Let's start to have a look then. So obviously victory goes in Monster Energy Supersport TT Race 1. Victory number 34 at the TT for Michael Dunlop on the MD Racing Ducati. Second place for Dean Harrison on the factory Honda, the bike that he rides all year at British Superbike level. Third place goes to Peter Hickman on the Swan Racing Triumph PHR Performance Triumph Triple. For Peter Hickman, that's our podium. Fourth place we've already spoken to Paul Jordan on the Ducati. Fifth for Josh Brooks on the Suzuki.
Yeah, and it was that last lap, wasn't it, that did it for Josh Brooks. His first couple 123, 122, 120 miles an hour laps, but then lap 3 he pulled something out the bag, got behind Pete Hickman, and 126 miles an hour, and just dragged himself that extra position and got P5 in the end.
Massively noticeable, actually. Yeah, he did an 18 minutes 18 on the opening lap, 18:48 on the second lap, including the pit stop, 17:57 on lap 3.
And that was particularly impressive as well for Brooks, bearing in mind that Herbertson was actually 5 seconds quicker in the pits than Josh Brooks was. So that was an unbelievably strong final lap for Josh Brooks. However, we might have been talking about Mike Brown in that 5th place. Had he not exceeded that pit lane speed limit by less than 1 kilometre per hour, by my maths, I reckon Mike Brown would have been in that 5th place instead of the 10th place that he ended up with in the end.
We'll pick up on the rest of the leaderboard, but Beth has Jamie Kringle.
Certainly do. Always great to catch up with the Isle of Man riders here. How closely did that race match up with your plan that you had?
Sorry, I couldn't hear a word of that.
That's all right. How closely did that race match up with the plan that you had beforehand?
Yeah, well, we went out. We fully changed the bike again, basically, for that one, because we've only done 6 laps on it in qualifying, so we're trying to get it more settled to how I want it, which we're getting there slowly. So it's the case of learning the bike for first lap and even the 3rd lap as such when we got low fuel loads. So I'm going to get different reactions again. But it was a good run anyway.
18th position is absolutely brilliant around here. And your pit stop okay?
Yeah, pit stop was great. So thanks to the boys in the pits, it was super. Yeah.
Your brother Ryan's here. Did all right? Did he?
Yeah, no, it was good. 4 weeks ago, Jamie didn't have a Supersport ride, and we put something together like last minute. And to look at what he's done, like we've done 6 laps in practice. He said he done his fastest ever lap during practice, and then we've gone back out in the race, and he's made some change again. And to be fighting in the top 20, there's no mean feat around here, and to come back to do his fastest ever lap, what more can you ask within 3 weeks turning something like that around?
Absolutely brilliant. How much do you wish you were out there?
Oh, yeah, honestly, yeah, I do. I miss it like everyone would, but I get a good kick out of just helping Jamie, and I don't know whether I'll be back ever again. I don't know. It's still an open thing for me, but I just wanted to take this year out and help Jamie, and the plan is to try and help somebody at the Southern and the Manx on the same bike I've got Jamie on here. It's my own little team, and if we can do that, and I'd like to put some of my knowledge into somebody at the Manx to try and help them progress as well. So see how this year goes, but this might be what I do from now on. I don't know.
Ryan Kringle, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. Well, if that is what Ryan does, fair play to him, helping to support other riders. In 6th place, Dominic Herbertson. That's a really good result. He switched to the KTS squad this year, got himself a top 6. Supersport is as hard a race as you can imagine to try and get a result, and top 6 is brilliant.
Yeah, a hard, close race. I think Dom will be really pleased with 6th. That's an excellent result. There'll be a little bit inside him that's a little bit gutted that he missed out on fifth place. He was, he was running in 5th for quite a lot of that race. But to have that place taken from him by someone like Josh Brooks, he's one of the best riders around here, and certainly on a short circuit as well. So I think he'll be able to sleep tonight.
Jamie Coward finishes in 7th, Sean Anderson in 8th, Ian Hutchinson 9th, Mike Brown in 10th. We've spoken about his. We'll go outside the top 10 after we drop back down to Beth, who's with Michael Mace.
I certainly am. And I just want to ask you, first of all, Michael, about your nan who's been over here.
Yeah, she said I could come and do the TT as long as we brought her with us. So we brought her with us, and we went for a drink and thought we'd take her for one and she'd come back and go to bed. But she decided to come back out with us, and she kind of became the life and soul of the party. So she's more popular than me, I think, this week.
She is a social media star. Well, where's she watching today?
I think she's just watching in the paddock on the TV because she said her legs were hurting her this morning, so she stayed down there.
How was that race for you then?
Yeah, it weren't too bad. It seems like I'll move up from the Manx Grand Prix and bring the weather with us. So the conditions weren't great, but after the first lap, I just thought, you know what, I can do a lot worse than just go around, enjoy myself, and hopefully I'll have many more years to come when the conditions are a little bit better.
And I tell you what, 3 laps around here, we were just saying, is absolutely no mean feat for man and machine.
No, when they originally went back to 4, everyone was all really happy. I was a little bit disappointed myself, and then they cut it back to 3, and I sort of did a little happy dance. And but no, it'd be nice to do a full distance race, but to get my first TT finish under my belt, I'll take that, and we'll move on.
Absolutely brilliant. Say hello to your nan for us.
Cheers, thank you.
And from all of us, Dave O'Johnson then completes in 11th. Connor Cummins is 12th, and he's another who had the penalty, Greg.
Yeah, he did, although it could have been a heck of a lot worse. I think he's only lost 1 position, actually, Chris, so it could have been worse. Potentially could have grabbed 2, of course, but it all depends on where Mike Brown's penalties factored into that as well. So I think had Connor not had the penalty, he would have been in front of Dave O'Johnson, but he's only effectively lost 1 place there.
Mitchell Reese finishes in 13th. Clive Padgett, we spoke to before the start of the race. Clive, you could be very, very happy. That's a brilliant performance on the Malenko by Padgett's bike.
Yeah, you're not wrong, and them guys always put out a fantastic motorcycle. Doesn't matter what class the bike's in, it always looks great and it always performs really well.
Tom Whedon is with Beth.
Certainly is, Tom. Talk us through that race. I thought at one point that you were going to get off the bike.
I mean, I did get off the bike. I don't know if I'm allowed or not, but yeah, I missed my point man in the pit. So there was two people waving me down. It was obviously for the person behind me, but they was both wearing the same gear. And when you're wearing the balaclavas, you can't tell the difference. So he went to mine and I went to his, and then I ended up having to jump off, get back, put it back in. I don't know how much time I lost, but yeah, it's just a bit annoying. To be honest, I'm not gelling with this Triumph quite as much as I did my old Triumph. Obviously, I won the Manx here in 2016 on that, but this Triumph just, I don't know, it just feels numb. I can't put a word to it, but we'll get there, I'm sure. I'll get there.
And it must be so difficult after something like that happens to get your mind back into it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you kind of just got to take the thought, put it out your head and just throw it away and crack on. But yeah, I was hoping for a good last lap there. I don't know what I got in the end, but ended up having a little bit of traffic and whatever. But hey, we're back. Well, at least we got to race today. That's the main thing. And fingers crossed we can get out on the Super Twin later.
Brilliant, Tom. Thanks so much for talking to us. Well done.
Thank you very much.
I'm just going to wander over here and speak to Ryan Garside. Hello, how are you? Talk to me about the fuel that you were using today.
So we've got this 40% sustainable fuel. It's 60% dead dinosaurs, 40% not dead dinosaurs. That's about as technical as I understand about it. But I think it's all made from sort of like waste from bakeries and farms and things like that. But it's just some sustainable thing basically to prove that it can kind of work and still be fun. It makes the exact same power as the 102 Panther that all the Superbike teams are making. It's the same like oxygen contents and RON numbers and all that sort of stuff. So it's works. It proves it'll work. But the main thing for me was because they sponsored us. We've not paid for it, so I'm well happy with that. But it's mint. Honestly, it smells dead good. It's dead crystal clear, and we just threw it straight in and it works, no problem. I mean, it didn't help that I pulled up in the wrong pit stop and nearly got someone else's fuel. But that was hard work. It was good fun though.
We were just talking to Tom Whedon about that, and it must be so difficult. Your mind is buzzing when you come in after that first lap, and trying to recognise where you're supposed to go must be a nightmare.
Yeah, so I'd had a good first stint. I was quite happy. So I'd caught Barry, who was ahead, and passed him, and I felt like I was going all right. Pulled in, got the wrong stop. We lost about 20 odd seconds or something, 20 seconds in the pit. And by the time I got back out, obviously I was a bit worked up, so I don't let myself get mad about it. But I did then make a mistake at Balaf where I couldn't get it stopped. And I probably went about 30-40 mile an hour too fast over the bridge, and I hope someone's got it on camera because that'd have been mint. Launched it and I landed all crossed up and foot peg stabbed me in the back of the leg and stuff. But yeah, so I was like, I had to make sure I calm myself down a bit and just carry on as normal. But by the end my hands were hurting a bit, but I'm looking forward to an hour's rest and then back out again on the little bike, which is pretty easy to ride, to be fair.
And welcome to TT, I suppose. A member of your team here, happy enough with him?
Yeah, he's absolutely flying. Can't complain at all, other than obviously the obvious with the pit stop. But it's one of those, isn't it? Under the pressure here at TT, it's immense. So no doubt, no issues for me.
You're going to have to get some very distinctive balaclavas for your team next time.
Definitely. I think we're going to get pink or purple. Put purple on other ends, that might work.
Ryan Garside, thanks for talking to us. Over to you, Kinners. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the podium presentation for the Monster Energy Supersport. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a two-wheel legend up to present the trophy on behalf of Monster Energy, Ricky Carmichael. Good to see you, Rick. Good to see you, man. Nice to see you here. Ladies and gentlemen, in third position for the Swan Racing Triumph for PHR Performance, riding the Triumph Street Triple, is number 10, Peter Hickman. Peter makes that climb up the step once more. And in second position, riding the Honda Racing Honda CBR 600, Dean Harrison. He first won this race in 2013 for the first time. He's won this trophy 8 times now, and now a 34-time TT winner riding the MD Racing Ducati Panigale V2 is Michael Dunlop. Michael makes his way up onto the podium, and the trophy, not the big bit, the little bit only comes down, and Lloyd from G4S moves the bottom bit away, which is quite heavy. And we'll just get into position here now just to see your race winner, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Dunlop. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are able, please be upstanding for the British National Anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation once again for Ricky Carmichael from Monster Energy. And ladies and gentlemen, your top three in the Monster Energy Supersport TT Race 1. For Dean Harrison, for Corso Peter Hickman, and your race winner as the bubbly about to go. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Dunlop. As the champagne goes, brilliant, brilliant stuff. Well done to our top three. Back to Chris and to Greg.
Thank you very much, Chris Kinley. Yeah, the champagne is flowing. None of them are taking a sip. I think they've got work to do later this evening. We're hoping to get the Carol Nash Sport Bike TT Race 1 in. News from Race Control that number 70, David Brook, came off at Sulby Bridge. Rider is okay. David Brook, number 70, off at Sulby Bridge. Rider reported as okay. Number 43, Gary McCoy, off at Kerramore, reported as conscious and talking, taken to Nobles via AirMed for further assessment. So number 43, Gary McCoy, newcomer here at TT 2026, off at Kerramore, conscious and talking, and taking to Nobles via AirMed for further assessment. So all the best to them. We'd got down to only 13th, 14th place, I think it was, on the leaderboard recap we were doing. Nathan Harrison said he couldn't get the Honda 600 to work very well. 14th place is a fine result.
Yeah, they've obviously found a setting that works reasonably well, because 14th is, it's great. Top 15 in any class round here is, not to be sniffed at.
All the locals coming through here, because 15th is Mikey Evans, 16th is Joe Yeardsley. So that's three Manxmen in a row then. Michael Russell finishes 17th. Jamie Kringle, we've already spoken to, finishes in 18th. Barry Ferber gets himself a top 20 on the Triumph in 19th place. Pierre-Yves Bian, riding for Peter Hickman's team, he's top 20 as well. 21st for Julian Trummer, 22nd for Erno Costomo, 23rd for Brian McCormack. Then Reese Hardesty 24th, Marcus Simpson in 25th on another of the tribes. Toby Shan, Beth's already spoken to, a brilliant 26th for his first TT for Toby. That's a really good result, isn't it?
Yeah, great to see. I'm sure he'll be pleased with that, and I'll be looking forward to the next one to see if he can just take that little next step further.
And right behind him, Beth's already spoken to another MGP graduate, Ryan Whitehall, who finishes 27th. Chalky, James Chalk, finishes in 28th. David Datzer, our German rider, finishes 29th. Frenchman Timothy Monet finishes in 30th. Daniel Forbes takes 31st. Loris Matsan from Croatia takes 32nd. Tom Whedon, who Beth has spoken to, 33rd. Barry Burrell at his second TT. He finishes in 34th. 35th for Jack Fowler. 36th for Ryan Garside, 37th for Sam Johnson. The finishers keep coming. Michael Mace in 38th. Amalric Blanc finishes in 39th. George Halliday in 40th. Martin Morris in 41st. And the last of our finishers, Craig Chapek in 42nd. But ahead of affairs, Dunlop, from lap 2 onwards, was just in a different class, wasn't he?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We was expecting to see Dunlop at the front of that race, and he didn't disappoint, did he, today, in tricky conditions by all accounts. But there was battles all through the field, which was great to see. Some really close battles right to the end of that race. But the best part of it is we get to do it all again tonight, don't we?
Yeah, we certainly did, and we did not expect that, did we, earlier on today. But just looking at that MD team and the Scars Racing team, the way everything is immaculately prepared when you walk round the awning down in the paddock and the start of the race, slightly calm, as we said, for his level, of course, but they were all told and asked to take it quite calmly because of a few damp patches on the first lap, and it quickly dried out, didn't it, as everybody made their way through that Ramsey hairpin waterworks section, the Nook and Governors. But they had the best speed, as we talked about, Mike, during the race through the speed trap. They had the fastest pit stop as well of anybody in the whole race. The whole thing is just all gelling together beautifully, isn't it?
Yeah, it just all works. It all works perfectly. Like you said, everything they do, they're getting it right, and that's why they're winning races.
And that means he extends the record that we were talking about as well. Up to 34 Isle of Man TT victories now for Michael Dunlop. 16 of those 34 have come in Supersport races, this category that's been running since 1989. And Michael Dunlop now becomes the first rider ever to hit 20 podium finishes in the Supersport category. Phenomenal.
Absolutely amazing. And for Dean Harrison, wins the other day. He seemed quite happy with second today. I think he knows really maybe the Honda hasn't quite got the legs of the Ducati.
Yeah, we can see that on the speed traps, can't we? Dean's contracted to Honda. He's a Honda rider. That's the only motorcycle that Honda manufacturer that's compatible for the Supersport class. That's why he rides that bike. Listen, it's not a bad bike. It's a fantastic bike. It just doesn't have the legs, like we heard from Dean saying. When you get up on the mountain section, the big fast long straights, he can't do the lap speeds that you can do on a bike that's got 67 miles an hour on you in the speed traps. But yeah, another podium for Dean is great to see.
And Peter Hickman in third. That's a good result as well. So 3 different manufacturers in the top 3.
Yeah, absolutely. And the same thing on the podium as the Superbike race a couple of days ago, albeit, though, of course, in a different order with a different winner. But yes, talking about that Ducati, there's so much MotoGP technology, isn't there, going into those bikes, whether it's the V2 Panigale, which is the Supersport bike we've just been hearing here, or the Superbike, the V4. Seeing replays, incidentally, once again, of that moment coming out of Sulby Bridge when Michael was right up against the wall on his left-hand side. But so much MotoGP technology goes into that bike. Michele Pirro, who, of course, is a MotoGP racer, a World Superbike racer, does so many miles after mile after mile of testing at Misano and Mugello and all over Italy. Those bikes are absolutely sensational, aren't they, when they roll out of the showroom, let alone when they're on the racetrack?
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's a phenomenal machine, but he's still got to ride it, hasn't he? And we've seen from the images that we're getting back up here in the commentary box that he's riding the wheels off that thing, using all the tarmac and a little bit more at times. So, yeah, he's giving it absolutely 110%, and that's why we're seeing him being so dominant in this class.
There we are then. A Monster Energy Supersport TT Race 1 is done. None of us thought we'd see any racing when we woke up this morning. We've seen one race. We're hopefully going to see another. The roads will be reopening once all the riders are in. We still had some riders out on the course, I think. Roads to be opened then for the tea time corridor. They will then be due to close again at 6 o'clock. At 6:30, we are due to have the Carol Nash Sport Bike TT Race 1 over 3 laps, with all roads due to open except for the mountain by 9:30. That's upcoming. We'll be back with you at 6 o'clock. Supersport TT Race 1, the Monster Energy Supersport TT Race 1. It's now 34 wins for Michael Dunlop.
Keep up to date with Manx Radio's dedicated motorsport website, motorsport.manxradio.com, your one-stop shop for news, travel, road closures and racing schedules. You can also step into Manx Radio 1368's 60-year motorsport archive, including interviews with your favourite riders, race highlights from yesteryear, and our collection of motorsport videos and podcasts. Motorsport.manxradio.com, the home for motorsport on the Isle of Man, from the best biking station in the world, Manx Radio 1368.